long before we start up the movement? How long we gon' keep letting them do us? How long before we start up the movement? How long we gon' keep letting them do us? How long before we say fuck this piece shit and grab them clappers? How long before we lose our voices shouting Black Lives Matter? How long we gon' keep letting them disrespect our president? How long we gon' keep letting them terrorize our residents? I'm sick of this shit, it's word to Bernie Mac. How long before we police ourselves, take our own streets back? How long for Uncle Tom hitting hate on this shit? How long before they take a shot at me for making this shit? How long I gotta wait for justice for Josiah Shaw? How long we gotta fake it till we can take it and whack 'em all? How long we not gonna make these youngins pull their pants up? How long we gon' keep letting them shoot us down with our hands up? How long we gon' keep killing our own and making these streets hot? How long will what I say to you stay with you when the beat stop? How long's your attention span? How long you watch the news? You ain't down to shake shit up with the rebels for the cause? I ain't talking to you.
Good evening. Good evening, one and all. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Provoked Thoughts. It is your boy, Derek, Mr. Provoked Thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my Provoked Thinkers that made it in so far. It's Wednesday, and you already know it's a lot of shit going on, man. We have R. Kelly and his closing argument, his oral arguments. In regards to his appeal, which I feel like that hopefully it will go the right way. Being hopeful, but being realistic at the same time and knowing that, there's a possibility that, things might not go our way. We hope for the best, wish my man the best. Hopefully these judges will have some Christ on their heart and make it happen for us, man. We are at a precipice with this where we gonna get our man up out that jam for real. And it's just crazy to me that he even sitting in here in this situation when we know that one man is clearly not an enterprise at all. Also, we got, the fact that Trump actually has an appeal going for the Fonnie Willis disqualification. Which is a good thing, which means that she's going to get what she deserves. I know a lot of people think that she didn't do shit wrong, but she was improper. She spent the government's money, tax money, to go on trips and to pay her boyfriend more than what he was worth, which it was easy for him to retire because he really wasn't worth shit. He walked away with $6 million. We got Letitia James out here literally robbing Donald Trump and trying to seize his properties before he can even get an appeal, which we've talked about with the R. Kelly situation, cruel and unusual punishments, which include excessive fines, which $300 and some odd million is an excessive fine, $500 million. He's already paid for an appeal. Now they want they want all of his stuff, man. And it's crazy to me. I feel like in my mind and my heart, that they are literally trying to deplete this man so that he can be defenseless when it comes to trial. If you can't pay your top-notch attorneys, they feel like you can't win. So that's what they're trying to do. They are trying to bankrupt him. And, of course, the far left media has effectively muted him on one side and propagandized him. They only let you know the words that they want you to hear coming out of his mouth and not the actual meaning of the words. So that is where we are in this. In my opinion, Letitia James is an ugly, handsome mutt duck, and she needs to consider plastic surgery. That is my opinion, and that is my thought for today. How's everybody doing? I got a couple of people off up in my chat. Well, I got Love Unconditional up in here. And the Heavenly Father is in full control. And we're going to pray about that thing. All it takes, faith, size of a mustard seed. And I do have faith, man. I have faith in Jennifer Bonjean also. And we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of people out here that really want to make it seem like that this woman is not doing a proper job for Robert Kelly. Is people out here that really believe that life is like Law and Order SVU, and we're going to get our results within maybe 1 or 2 episodes. But this is a saga. This is like Trapped in the Closet with 1,000 episodes, and we have to really show our patience and show what that we can trust, like Miss Love Unconditional said, in the Lord, and stand fast in our positions, never waver, don't flip flop. We don't need to be flip flopping on Jennifer Bonjean. We know what she can do. We've seen what she can do. We've seen what she can do for other people. So why is it that we are, thinking that she can't do the same for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, aka the King of R&B, aka the Pied Piper? Yep, I said it, the Pied Piper, regardless to what the story, what people want to make that story about. He is the Pied Piper of R&B, because wherever he goes, everybody follows, and that's just the truth. So what I want to kind of get into is how my man Kevin O'Leary is extremely upset. Kevin O'Leary is from the Shark Tank, and he feels as a businessman that this is an attack on the American entrepreneur business model. And I agree. I mean, because my thing always has been injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And if you can allow this for one and you can accept it for one, you may as well accept that shit for all. And you may as well expect that it's going to happen. And when it does happen to somebody that you care about and you love, and they sitting in jail on a Rico charge and a Rico conspiracy, what are you going to do then? Are you going to be like, oh, okay, cool? Because if it's not cool for R. Kelly to be involved in a Rico, it's not cool for Trump either. It's just not. It's overreach and it's lazy prosecution at its finest. Of course, we can tell that, Fonnie Willis is doing other shit. She's trying to get her rocks off. So she's not really concentrating on, the things that she needs to concentrate on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and listen to my boy, Professor Nez, who is a great content creator. If you want to go over there and like his channel, share and subscribe, of course. And we're going to get into some stuff with him. And he's going to get profound on us. And we're going to talk about Kevin O'Leary, because this is a part of his content for today. So we're going to go ahead and get to that and get it rolling.
Why does everybody, fight for Trump? How can this MAGA cult be so impervious and so forgiving of all his quote unquote faults and alleged indictments, alleged crimes, alleged horrible sayings, etc., etc. Boy, I got to tell you, I think Letitia James could actually be even more prominent of a corrupt policymaker and lawmaker than even Kamala Harris. I mean, I don't know. This woman just might take the deal. I'm going to talk to you today about this $450 million bond that is being demanded of President Trump, if you haven't heard. And then I'm going to share with you an amazing video that I think really is the epitome of what all of us feel, coming from one of the most reputable, if not the most renowned, not just nationally, but globally, investors and businessmen of our time. And you want to stick around for that. I promise you, this is going to really be something that you need to see. But really quickly, let me just kind of sum up today's video really quickly. On Monday, lawyers for Trump said that he was unable to secure a $464 million cash bond, which includes the payment also required by his two sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, in order to appeal the decision after being rejected by 30 bond companies. If he doesn't pay the penalty, if Trump doesn't pay the penalty or cash bond by March 25th, it's already the 19th, so that's 6 days away, the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, is at risk of having his assets seized. And then you got these Momo idiots like Solwell and Congressman Ted Lieu, who is an absolute joke, trying to get this hashtag Trump is broke to go viral. And nobody's buying it, right? Nobody's qualifying it. Even Mark Cuban, who is not a Trump supporter, responded, most billionaires, their net worth is not tied in liquidity. It's not tied in cash. It's tied in assets. Nobody has 500 million.
I'm serious. Like they trying to make it seem like that this dude got all this money sitting around like Fannie Willis under a fucking mattress. The shit don't make no sense. It's not under no damn mattress. It's tied up in business deals. It's tied up in buildings. It's tied up in stocks, bonds, and all of this shit. And they expect for this man to come up with that. It's a highway robbery, man. They know good and damn well, just by looking at his statements, that he does not have that type of liquid cash. That is insane. It makes no sense at all to think that somebody is sitting up with money under their mattress, because cash is pungent and they can just go ahead and grab it and hear it. That's some stupid shit. But let's continue.
$1 million in cash. As a matter of fact, the people who chased yield back in the day is what caused these awful banks to go under. And interest rates were so falsely and fraudulently so low that it created a lot of these problems of cash and liquidity, that everybody put their money, especially people with wealth, put their money in assets, right? Like real estate, et cetera, et cetera. And so nobody has that kind of liquidity. There is no billionaire, maybe Bezos or, the top 0.000001%, maybe. I don't even know if they do either. But these mindless, talentless excuses of representatives of us in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, in our legislature, are actually trying to, kick a man while he's down. First of all, you've got a fraudulent case that was launched by a fraudulent AG, a DEI hire, in Letitia James. She has no idea what she's doing. She has no idea what the law actually states. You've got a judge who is extremely biased, extremely corrupt. There's no due process. There's no fair and impartial trial, just like with what's happening with Fannie Cash Money G. Willis in Fulton County, Georgia. You've got no crime. You've got no victim. You've got banks and even lenders coming to the aid of Trump in the trial, saying he did nothing wrong. He paid back all his debt with interest. Okay. The only crime is that he elevated the valuation of his assets, which they reported that the Mar-a-Lago estate, just a quick reminder that the Mar-a-Lago estate is only worth $18 million, when you don't have to be a real estate expert. I'm not a real estate expert, but I bought a few homes in my life. And I know that the way that you judge the valuation of a property to adequately price it for the market is you look at the comps of the homes that have sold recently. And the comps in the area of Mar-a-Lago sold for upwards of $200 million. Where do you get this $18 million valuation? Unless you're absolutely entrenched in corruption, which Judge Engeron is, which Letitia James is, Eric Adams is, the governor is, all of pretty much New York State and New York City is. And so there's that, right? Now, I want you to check out this video right here by one of the most prominent businessmen and investors of our time, Mr. Kevin O'Leary, otherwise known as Mr. Wonderful. I actually like him a lot. He's extremely intelligent. Never mind the fact if you don't like his personality, his TV persona, et cetera, et cetera. He knows a lot about money. He knows a lot about real estate law. He knows a lot about investor relationships, investor protocol, investor mandates, et cetera, et cetera. This is something that he had to say about this asset seizure that could potentially be faced by the former president. Listen to this, and then I have a few things. Stick around. I have a few things to say to you that are really, really important. But watch this first.
More importantly, the message about the American brand. You think about America, the reason this is the number one economy on earth is that we have laws and we have due process and we have property rights. It attracts foreign capital from all around the world. All of that is being shaken to the core here. The concept of seizing assets in 30 days on a bond number that's never been issued. No insurance bond company's ever issued anything near this. So there was no chance it was going to happen. And only giving 30 days notice and time, that's a really bad message. And I think New Yorkers should think well past Trump. Whether he's president or not, or whether this attorney general is gone in 4 years or not, it's irrelevant. This is case setting against the American brand. The most stable country on earth, anywhere, to put capital to work over a long period of time, particularly in real estate, is the United States of America. This is an assault on what we believe to be core. And I find it extraordinary. I think it's very troubling. It has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump at this point, in my view, and it is completely bipartisan. This is an attack on America. And I don't know how you can look at it any other way. And as an investor, and I know plenty of investors are completely disturbed by this, but I mean, no one is going to put any money to work in New York in these amounts until this thing settles down. The whole world is watching, and everybody's waiting for one thing we haven't got yet: adult supervision. Where is it? Where are the adults in this crazy narrative? Certainly there's got to be adult supervision at some point. And I understand, you know, the war going on here and all the political yada, yada, woof, woof, woof. But we need an adult in the room now. This is the United States of America under siege.
Exactly. Under siege. At this point, and as you see in my thumbnail or whatever you looked at when you clicked on and got on the live, who is America? Who are we? Are we going back to propaganda to where it gets so bad that we burn down a city or a district of a city like Tulsa, Oklahoma? Is it as bad as back when we would hose people down, you know, or for people who felt like that people deserved equal rights and due process to call them nigger lovers? Because I promise you that anybody that supports Donald Trump and out in the open, far left people that don't have a leg to stand on will sit up and insult you because they have nothing. They have no policy. They have no agenda that they can stand on besides Trump is a racist. Trump is this, Trump is that. And they sit up and they do this shit and they think that this is going to work for common sense thinking people who have opposable, you know, thumbs and a working brain that can see an injustice happening right in front of their faces. And trust and believe me, I would hope that anybody that comes to my channel is on my channel because of some type of injustice, because that's what my channel is. How long is your attention span? How long do you watch the news? And what news channel do you watch? Because CNN ain't informing you a shit. MSNBC ain't telling you a damn thing. They're literally lying, clipping stuff, copy and pasting, looping stuff, making you think that the person is saying one thing when they're saying an absolute another. And we have to really pay attention to what they're doing. These are the same people that made it so that we thought that COVID was so bad that we were in grocery stores. And I'm talking about not me, but I'm talking about the majority fighting over toilet tissue, toilet paper. Let me break it down a little bit more so you can understand. Shit paper. These far left people had us fighting in the stores over shit paper. And I would hope that somebody thinks that that's the stupidest shit that ever happened. Then this same administration put it in play to where if you didn't take a vaccine and depending on where you worked, you couldn't work anymore. So you want me to take an experimental drug? See, the problem that people don't understand is this is not an attack on Donald Trump. This is an attack on the private American citizen. The private citizen, because before Donald Trump was ever a president, what was he? He was a private citizen. He may have been a public figure, but he was definitely a private citizen. Just like Kevin O'Leary right here that we're listening to. What would happen if he decided to run for office? Make you wonder, don't it? What if somebody that has an obtuse view from the Democrats runs for office? Anybody who believes in the Bible or anybody who believes that you shouldn't be giving a child puberty blockers. Anybody who thinks that the border should be closed. Or anybody who thinks that we should not be paying high prices for rent, gas, and food. I don't understand how any individual, unless you just oblivious and you're making $40 an hour and you paid your house off and all you have to do is pay your bills and your car's paid off and everything is. This is the person who's trying to make it that they're fucking with. The paycheck to paycheck person. They're fucking with us. The person that's trying to get on their feet. And see, the Democratic Party, what they're really about is we'll help you, we'll give you government assistance, and we'll let you sit at home and not do a damn thing, and we'll let you have babies, and all you got to do is keep the man out of the house, and everything's fucking fine. But then you turn around, and if a person is, behind or in arrears on a child support situation or whatever, you'll lock their fucking asses up instead of helping them find a job if it's all about the children. They don't give a fuck about the children. They don't give a fuck about us as adults trying to make it. They don't give a damn about you. All the Democrats that vote Democrat, you're voting based on a promise that's never going to come. Never going to happen. They are never going to do anything to help you. They are never going to do anything but talk and come around every fucking 4 years, try to make you feel good about the bullshit that they're telling you, and they're going to move on. Once they get your vote, you ain't going to see them again for another 4 years. And that's the honest to God's truth. That is nothing more than the truth. I've seen it all my life. I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana, a staunch. In a red state, it's the bluest section. And people voted Democrat because that's what their mama did. They voted Democrat because that's what their daddy did. Black people, we got to do something different because the true definition of insanity is doing the very same thing and expecting a different result. I would hope that we aren't crazy. I would hope that we got enough sense between our brains to know that somebody is bending us over, greasing us up, and sticking it in us deep. And that's what Joe Biden is doing. That's what Kamala Cackling Harris is doing. That's what that mud duck Letitia James is doing. And that's what that bad, awfully built, terrible Fonnie Willis is doing. They're screwing us. They don't give a damn about us. The only thing they give a damn about, and the only thing that Letitia James gives a damn about, is getting that money from Trump or getting the properties from Trump, and trust and believe me, she getting some type of kickback from the shit because he didn't defraud the city of New York. He didn't defraud the banks. He didn't defraud anybody. You campaigned on, I'm going to get Trump, and I promise you, he's going to know my name personally, and I'm going to be a pain in his ass. You ugly mud duck, you. You can literally Google the fact that your ass does not have a man. You sit at home every day and probably cry in your vodka or in whatever the fuck it is that you're drinking because your ass is handsome. You look, instead of Letitia James, you look more like Rick James. And on that note, I'm going to let my boy Noobs off up in here. And he's going to say hello to y'all. What's up, Noobs? What's going on?
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Noobs comes with the news. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad. And in that, and while you're on this particular topic, I don't know if anybody else saw today that Letitia James is being sued by a man who lent $3 million to some friends of Letitia, and she and her friends, according to the filing, conspired to steal this man's $3 million and still have not paid it back. And then on top of that, and this is the good part, is that she is also being accused of overvaluing the property.
Wait.
Overvaluing the property.
Say it again.
Yes, overvaluing the property that they obtained this loan for by they said that the property was worth $80 million. Well, it turns out it might be worth $20 million. And so from what I understand, that filing was made against Letitia today. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
My thing is this, Noobs, how in the hell?
Yeah.
I believe in the Constitution, man. I mean, I would say that I started reading this damn thing thoroughly because of R. Kelly.
Yeah. Well, and you need to, because one of the phrases that you like to use is cruel and unusual. It's not even that for me, because before we even get to that, because there has to be a crime in order for there to be punishment. So what they're doing is just illegal and it's unconstitutional.
Right. But even on a surface level, if it was criminal, it's still cruel.
Well, no, I get that, but I mean, it's just a preference in terms. That's all.
I get it.
They're just these are criminal entities. These are not actual real officers of the court. They're just scumbags.
Right. So in my thumbnail is a question. If you if you look at it, who is America? I put it in the thumbnail and I can't answer the question. I can't answer the question. And that's why I put it as a thumbnail. I cannot answer the question. That is a provoked thought. The provoked thoughts himself cannot answer the question.
Well, one of the things that I keep coming back to is that, the government of the United States was established to protect the business dealings of the American people. It's not that anymore.
No.
Now it's just a self-serving, we're going to administer ourselves into positions that we can't be removed from. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that everybody else does what we want them to do.
It is amazing to me.
Yeah. And
I got a new face up in here. Hey, B White, what's going on? How are you doing today? I hope everything's fine. And I hope you enjoy what you've heard so far. We're going to keep it rolling. It's going to be very, very interesting. Trust and believe me. Man, Noobs, look. I've been sitting up here looking at this lady, man. And I can clearly recall like the first day that they started this bullshit trial in New York. And she was peering at this man with so much hatred in her heart. Like he like cheated on her with her sister. I've never seen or killed her brother or did something fucked up to her to where she just couldn't even fathom that he's the person that he is. But the reason why he's the person that he is because of the fact that he's been a businessman. He's, the deal, the comeback, the failures, the successes, the ability to turn it around when shit's fucked up. When you go out to fucking what is that Atlantic City and try what was the casino he tried to buy out there and it fucking flopped?
I have no idea.
Was it the Taj Mahal?
I mean,
the Taj Mahal?
Yeah, the big problem they got with
Noobs, get it together. It's acting crazy.
they and that was really one of my concerns, and I think I've talked to you about this before. When Trump first got in office, I figured he was going to get steam rolled. You know what I mean? It was just going to be a matter of months before they got him in line and got him to do, their bidding. And the opposite happened. He took away that bitch's airplanes and said, "Nope, you need to go do your job, Nancy."
It's so crazy because they didn't realize. Well, they knew, they had an idea, because it's so funny because the moment that he decided he was going to run for president, all of a fucking sudden,
yep,
here come these women talking about he
not
did
real
this to me.
Waymans.
Okay, yeah. Wonder wafers. That's what they were. Wonder wafers. What the fuck? I mean, these females or whatever, you got to be
whatever they are
on YouTube. These, especially, I would say, if my opinion of Letitia James is she's extremely handsome. Like a man. Like I said,
I don't know. She wouldn't make a good-looking dude either. That's just
oh
me,
my
though.
god. Oh my god. It's like, what in the world? And you literally said that you were going to make sure he knew your name personally. Yep. And you were going to be a real pain in his ass. You ran on the fact that you felt in your feelings that he was an illegitimate president. And you were going to dig, and you were going to shine a light, quote, in every corner of every business. You were looking for the smallest thing. The smallest thing. And then you went and you found a piece of shit, punk ass suspect, maybe a little frou-frou judge.
All the while, she's doing the same thing. And here's the difference, though, is that in Trump's scenario, there's no victim. Everybody got paid back. Everybody got, they all want to do more business with Trump. They're saying exactly the opposite of what they wanted to hear inside of this case. Meanwhile, in Letitia James' scenario, this dude is out $3 million that he loaned to her and her organization. So here there's an actual victim, and she overvalued the property in order to obtain the loan.
Which is what everybody does. Do you have anything on that I can put up here?
Let me see if I can find you something quick. Give me a couple of minutes and you carry on.
Right. But the thing about it is I want her more than I want Fonnie Willis. So
no doubt. Yeah.
We're gonna let Kevin O'Leary tell it like it is.
Sounds a lot like a Nez Nation live stream, doesn't it?
Like I said, make sure that you go to Professor Nez and subscribe. This is amazing content. He is a mom and pop shop. Him and his wife does this channel and they do it well. please go ahead and and subscribe.
Isn't it? I mean, Kevin O'Leary echoes everything that I've been talking about for a long time. Why? What is the purpose of my channel? I'm sick and tired of seeing our country be thrown in the toilet like this. I'm sick and tired of these children. He's right. Where are the adults? Where is the balls in this country
That's what we've been
to
saying.
stand up and say
Look, he's preaching. He's preaching right now. I like this dude.
enough is enough? I couldn't agree with.
Matter of fact, I feel like if you got gray hair, even if you dye it, I'm with you, because it seems like there's a little bit, and not always, because there's some dickheads over there with gray hair and blonde hair, and it's some idiots on the Democratic side. But you know, when you get a mature man that's speaking these facts, it just does my heart good. Oh God.
With them more. This is a siege. It is an absolute assault and attack on America. They're throwing everything and the kitchen sink at this guy. Even the immediate recusal and immediate resignation of Nathan Wade, the language that he used in that letter saying, I want this trial to move on as quickly as possible, so I offer my resignation. And what did Cash Money Fannie Willis, Cash Money G?
Oh, and by the way, Nathan Wade didn't say in the interest of justice. He said in the interest of democracy. But that is a very, very, very loose term in 2024. Don't you agree, Mr. Noobs?
Say that again.
I said, Nathan Wade said that he was resigning in the interest of democracy,
Right.
and not justice.
And that's their comeback for everything. My democracy.
No, it should be in the interest of justice. That is your fucking job. It is not about partisanship or political agendas. It is about justice. So you can literally see and hear that these people are totally off kilter about what their job is. That ain't even your job. To be worried about democracy, you're supposed to be administering justice. These people think we stupid. Good Lord.
Willis say immediately she issued a letter saying, I accept, we're going to move on. They're trying their hardest. They think they know what's best for the American people. They're trying to prevent us to exercise our constitutional right to vote for the candidate that we believe is best for us, not who they think is best for us, who we believe is best for us. We can't let this happen. I mean, honestly, the severity of Kevin O'Leary's words, I think, are. I can already hear a lot of you right now. Maybe even see some of you rolling your eyes. Boy, this sounds really dramatic. Boy, this sounds really conspiratorial.
It don't.
I mean, these charges, this amount of weight given, and the gravity of the charge, and the unprecedentedness of this is alluding to everything pointing in one direction and one direction only. And that is, we're going to do everything in our power, everything possible, no matter how absolutely egregious it appears, no matter absolutely how unlawful it appears, we're going to do everything in our power to get this guy out of here. We can't, I mean, you know, I never really subscribed to TDS, which is otherwise known as Trump derangement syndrome.
Welcome
but if there was
to the party,
ever
pal.
a case of Trump derangement syndrome in full technicolor, this is it.
I'm glad he said it.
Right? Some people
I'm
are a little
glad he
slow.
said
It
it.
takes them a little bit longer than others.
I'm glad he said it, because I subscribed to it immediately. I'm like, these motherfuckers are deranged.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to share a screen. Just sit on it until you're ready for it.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, the thing about it is, I'm like, these people are literally out of their gourd. And I see who you got up here. This is one of my boys that I listen to. Not for nothing. It's so amazing that you have half of the country. Okay, fuck it. less than half that, and I have people that I'm friends with, people that I love. It's so sad to know that when a person is blind and you just like, here, take this magnifying glass, just look, please look beyond the surface of what the media is saying. Stop spouting at me what you heard. How can Trump be a racist if for 2 years he was in a full-blown relationship with a mixed person? How? And I'm talking about in a relationship. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't screwing her in the cover of darkness. You can find pictures of him with this woman out, hanging out, kicking it, going to galas, doing everything. They just didn't work out. And she let it be known that he's never acted racist, said anything racist, or come off as racist to him. How is that possible? How is it possible? That's almost like your boy. If you remember a movie, and if you've never seen it, noobs, have you seen Harlem Nights?
I've heard of the movie. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Okay, so Harlem Nights is a movie with Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Della Reese.
I did see it a long time ago.
Classic shit. It was underrated, but it was classic. There was a scene in there where an officer, they were trying to set somebody up, because they were trying to rig a fight because they were trying to get out of the mob game or whatever. And they was like, look, we need to put a person on this officer. And they was like, I got somebody is so good, if you throw it up in the air, it'll turn into sunshine. Her name was Sunshine. She met the guy. She screwed the guy. He fell in love. He called his wife. It was like, look, I ain't never coming home no more. Take care. So it's situations out here where you might think that people might be racist, but the proof is in the pudding, because I'll tell you straight up that, if there was somebody outside of my race that loved me and treated me good and knew how to fry a good batch of chicken and, make love to me the way I needed, that's wifey. That lift me up, that gives me that spiritual thing and affirms me and make me feel like that I can conquer the world, that's wifey. Look at what Melania has done for Donald Trump. Melania is not American. How can he be racist? It's impossible. That's an impossibility.
And we've said before, that in this day and age, that the demand far exceeds the supply. You know what I mean?
Yes. I actually look. So,
but they've been doing this. They've been doing this since the 50s. That I'm at least aware of. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's not new. And I guess a lot of at least for me, the frustration just comes from seeing the same story over and over and over again, and watching just these huge groups of people falling for the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, how many times?
It's literally Beverly Hills Cop falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
I'll tell you, it's like
you're literally falling for the banana in the tailpipe. That's what's happening right now. You get distracted by one thing, but you don't realize that people are making it to where you can't even fucking move.
Yeah.
The banana in the tailpipe. While you're looking over here, they are crippling your ass. And while these staunch, I can't think of anything else but vote Democrat, and whatever they say, that's what I feel. Democrats, they are making it to where we can't move. And that's the thing people don't understand and people need to embrace. Donald Trump, whether he had a whole lot of money or not, he was a private citizen just like you. He wasn't no 30-year, 50-year Democrat or 50-year politician that was stuck in their damn thinking and too fucking old to be there. He was just like us.
And that's what the Shark Tank dude is trying to make people understand. Particularly people who do business in New York. It's like, if you take Trump out of the equation, this could just as easily be you. And now we find out, or we will find out here in a little bit, that Letitia's been doing the same shit.
You know what? I want her to fall so bad because she's so smug. You sit up here and try to put a witch hunt out on citizens, people who save lives.
And what's makes you wring your fingers about that is that she's not that fucking smart either. And so, she was selected for this, and she was dumb enough to do it. And now, that is just a polar opposite of the level of smug that she has, because it's going to come apart eventually. It's going to come apart. When you start with bullshit, you're going to end with bullshit, even if it takes time.
And it's so crazy to me because we look at this shit and we see the lies and we scream it to the top of our lungs. It's like, it's so crazy because I feel like I'm like, you can't see it. Why are you not seeing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you?
Why are you falling for it again? That's one of my big questions. Why are you falling for it again?
There are still idiots wearing masks.
Oh yeah.
Still. The mask ain't gonna do shit for you. You might as well put a piece of toilet paper over your fucking face because it's not gonna do anything. If they drop a nuclear bomb, that mask ain't finna do shit.
Yeah, well, it won't even do anything for the common cold.
It won't do anything for the common cold. It won't do anything it won't do anything if somebody touch you, that has something going on in their skin. It doesn't do anything for you. People are still, and I want to ask people who wear masks what their party affiliation is. I want to do the shit so bad. I'm like, who you voting for? Mask person.
Yeah.
Joe Biden. I knew it. I freaking knew it because you've been gaslit to a point that you don't even know that you can breathe again. You can breathe again. Take the mask off. The air is fresh. It's fresh. Suck some of it in. You only take your mask off when you get home, you idiot.
But some of them didn't even do that. I saw lots of people driving alone in their cars with
a mask on. With a mask on, and you don't even realize that you have a cabin air filter. You have an air filter up under your hood, and you sitting here with a mask on,
all by yourself.
By yourself. I'm like, unbelievable.
And I actually saw one twit who had put a hole in their mask so that they could fit a straw through.
Or a cigarette. Or a cigarette.
I haven't seen the cigarette trick, but
I saw that shit. Was pretty cool. I saw that shit and I lost my fucking mind. And I'm like, you damn near you're gonna give yourself cancer quick.
Yeah.
Because you gotta blow it out of that little fucked up asshole and everything.
Anyway, where were we?
We look, I'm gonna get back to it because we were in a video.
This is it. Nobody has that kind of liquidity. Nobody carries that kind of cash. 30 bond companies said, we can't take the risk on that. All these insurance companies said, I'm sorry, I can't. I think the most they ever did in the history was something like 100 million or maybe 300 million. $454 million.
Yep.
Here you go. You just want me to where I mean, there's no bank in the world that even has that kind of cash and liquidity, let alone a citizen or a former president, a single investor. I mean, it's the reason that they gave this absurd timeline, the reason that they charged this absurd amount is for the very reason that they know that he cannot submit this, he cannot acquiesce to this in time under the deadline. There's no way that he can comply. They don't want
30 days. 30 days.
And you know what he's talking about doing. One of the things that he might do is nothing.
And let them take it.
Let him come and get the building, or try to, and then see what happens when they have to manage it. Because the first thing that's going to happen is that everybody who's in that building is going to
fucking quit.
Yep.
They're going to quit.
Yep. And so that's one of the courses of action that he's considering, is just doing nothing.
Because
what's going to happen? What's going to happen to, his already increasing popularity when the government just outright comes to steal property without due process?
It is crazy because you see people like I showed Stephen A. Smith, and I've seen so many people. I've seen Michael Rappaport. I've seen all these people who were cursing Trump out and calling him everything but a child of God. And they're like, oh, what the fuck's going on? Because your dumb ass was listening to CNN and MSNBS and ABC and CBS. CBS is really real. It's because you see some bullshit on CBS. Trust and believe me, Gayle King can go straight to hell in a handbasket, sliding down a razor blade with alcohol pouring all over her ass.
And what was it? ABC and Stephanopoulos got sued today too for defamation.
Yes, defamation of character, which is something that I wish that R. Kelly had done in a lifetime.
Well, that may come. That may come. Yeah, stay tuned.
Immediately he should have done it though, but his funds was depleted. He only had $3,000 fucking $300,000 in the bank. That's nothing in the full scheme of trying to battle a fucking Rico. That's peanuts. The only thing that he could have wished for when he was in trial was Tom Mesereau, and he had too many corrupt lawyers around him, and he wouldn't take the case. Trump is R. Kelly. R. Kelly is Trump. Anybody who's done anything that is worth a damn and they just try to take it from you and deplete you, the government is wrong. It's not a fair fight. They are thieves. They steal elections and they steal convictions.
And the other thing that is stupid about all of this is that they try to pick a number. What is the bullshit? Please explain to me the piece of the law that says you have to have $450 million in order to file your appeal. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, in the Constitution that says you have to be a rich mofo in order to be able to file your appeal.
There is nothing in this world that says that you have to do and pay $87 million or whatever he paid in order to appeal this lie that this crazy.
Yeah. So when did we start having to go out and get loans and shit like that just to get what's owed by the judicial system in this country?
if he were to sell his properties, okay, to pay this bond, he can't even get the shit back. If he sells it, it's sold.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why, I'm kind of down with his, the do nothing. You know, let's see how far this will go.
This is why I do what I do, because it's not fair. It's not right. It's not constitutional. This is not what America is meant for. But the thing about it is, as a black man living here, we've constantly missed the mark. We have an opportunity to hit the mark and hit it right. We have a chance, noobs. We do.
Yeah,
we really do.
Even if you don't like Trump, I mean, what's the alternative? More of this same bullshit? Because that's what's coming.
We're going to be overrun. This is not going to be America. This is going to be China, Mexico, Venezuela, Arcana, Afro-America, whatever.
And explain this piece to me, okay? For an American citizen, if you are carrying a firearm during the commission of a crime, it's a felony. However,
even if you don't use it, even if you don't brandish.
That's right. Even if you don't brandish, if you are carrying a firearm during the commission of a crime, it's a felony. So
absolutely.
How is it the Supreme Court ruled today that illegal immigrants have the right to possess firearms?
What the
They're
fuck?
already illegal by being here. So by possessing a firearm, they're committing a felony.
Now they're going to go and buy AKs. They're going to go buy semi-automatics. They're going to go buy M16s.
Yeah,
they're going to go buy military body armor. They're going to go get everything. And then when whatever
and you know how they're going to pay for it? With their $10,000 freaking EBT card from Governor What's-His-Nuts over there in New York and in Chicago.
But we can't get shit. They come for us for 3 fucking stimulus checks.
Yeah, I want my free AK-47.
They come at us for stimulus checks.
I'm gonna have to show that video from that guy.
They come at us for stimulus checks. They jacked up prices on our asses because Trump decided to give us stimulus checks.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about stimulus checks. That is always, in my opinion,
it's a bunch of bullshit. But I don't think that Trump would have dinged us for it. I don't think he would have dinged us for that shit.
I don't think he would have had any control over it because, and let's take for an example. I know this is getting off the beaten path a little bit, but the government increased the amount of subsidy that you could get for buying an electric vehicle. And what happened the very next day?
Talk about it.
All of the EV manufacturers raised the prices of their vehicles the same amount as the government subsidy.
Of course.
So you still didn't get shit. You still got the same fucking raw deal, except now, that money is coming back to the government.
So, hey, News, do me a favor. Keep on talking. I got to go make water.
All right.
All right.
And so, you got to wonder, particularly with stimulus checks, every time they hand out money, I think they're printing like $1 billion a day or something less. I haven't sat down and done the math before, but assuming they're printing $1 billion a day, how many days in a row, I wonder, do they have to do that before that dollar that you have sitting in the bank or the dollar that you have coming from your employer is worth 50 cents? Because that's what's happening every day, and they're compounding it. Yeah, C-Star, I think you're right. I think that is what they're pushing for. Because, and if we go back to what I was saying before about Letitia, she didn't just wake up one day and decided that this was her mission. She was selected.
Right.
She was just dumb enough to do it.
Just like Fonnie. Just like Fonnie.
Yep.
And this is what I want for Letitia fucking Mud Duck James. That's her name. Everybody that's in my live right now, all 17 of y'all, or 14 or whatever the hell, make sure you like, share, subscribe. But I need y'all to put Mud Duck in my chat because she is an ugly mud duck.
Hey, so bring up the screen that I got over here.
I got you.
And let's see what you think of this.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and let's go.
Let's go.
Interesting. So we're going to take a look at this over from the New York Post. And as I mentioned, Miranda Devine did the digging on this. And she published this. Says an Irish society, an unpaid loan, and the hypocrisy of Tish, who throughout the entire Trump prosecution sat on her Tish in court and took her shoes off to stink up the whole building. So Miranda Devine wrote this, and of course, I'd encourage you to follow her on X and everywhere. She's amazing. She wrote this. All right, to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, here's a little bit of a tale of financial shenanigans. It involves American Irish Historical Society and a Trump deranged Tish. Now, there's a grand old building. So let's go over to New York. Let's take a mental journey over there. There's a grand old building on Fifth Avenue, right? And we have the Irish Historical Society in this building. There's this unpaid loan. There's a family dynasty. There's a theatrical production. And there's James. And so what's going on here? Well, it all began with this guy called James Doyle, right? He's this businessman, and he loves Irish. And he loves his Irish stuff, right? And he joined the board of this nonprofit, this Irish group. Now, they have this gilded mansion there in New York on Fifth Avenue. Crown jewel of this historical society association. They've got this building. And this dude, James Doyle, loves Irish and loves this building. Now, over the years, financial mismanagement and misfortune, unfortunately, led to the building facing foreclosure. Couldn't manage the money. Oh, no. Sounds like maybe Tish should be involved in this. So in 2017, the board turned to Doyle, okay, the same Georgia businessman who came on, got on the board, loves Ireland, loves his people. So they say, hey, can you help us out? How about we give you a $3 million loan? No, this is Tish language, right? Structured like a private mortgage. And he was told that the Beaux Arts townhouse, that this gilded mansion, was worth $80 million because it included valuable air rights above the building. So he's like, all right, I mean, I wish we would have managed our funds better. But okay,
what a familiar
I guess
number.
I'll give you this $3 million loan since it's secured by this building that has a lot of value to it. However, the society only made a few payments, and Doyle soon found things weren't quite as they seemed. What happened here? The society had become dominated for half a century by the Cahill family, and Cahill was accused of treating the townhouse like a private club. Now, Cahill was a tropical disease specialist and said to have treated Pope John Paul II and other things.
And
he held annual galas and all this other stuff. Now, there's this battle, families fighting this, families fighting. Okay. Now, the societal's financial woes and the dysfunction had reached a crisis point, right? Battling back and forth. You see even, who's this TDS actor, DeWack Job, was there at the Irish event. So he says, the society's financial woes and dysfunctions now reached a crisis point by 2021 when Cahill tried to sell the building for $52 million. Now he died and he's trying to sell the building. And then guess who stepped into the plate? New York Attorney General. She cited a petition to oppose the sale. She said, whoa, any sale of a nonprofit had to be approved by her. So Tish steps in. You can't sell this place. She said, it's an amazing place, Letitia James said. She gushed to the Irish Voice, said, we had to save it. We had to save this building. One day people can come in there and enjoy it again, which was all very well. But Doyle, who loaned them the $3 million, needed to get that money back. He's like, huh? I want this family to sell it so he can be compensated, right? And return his mortgage. Now, the AG appointed an interim board. So Tish comes out and says, all right, well, now that we're, you guys are having problems, you're trying to sell this, there's going to be an interim board of directors, and they tell Doyle, this guy who has this outstanding $3 million loan, they say, don't try to collect on your money and don't try to foreclose on the mortgage before July 2023. He says, all right, look, okay, Tish, if you're going to put this board of directors on here, and this is Tish now, okay, Tish is involved in this, and this is a building and her transactions and all this thing. So I got a question, what did she promise him? Right? AG appointed an interim board, and so that's her board. And what did that board promise to Doyle to persuade him not to collect his money? Sounds like maybe there was some value exchanged here that wasn't codified or documented according to general accounting practices.
Oh, you hear that?
Oh my God.
By August 2023, Doyle still hasn't been paid. So he initiated foreclosure proceedings. Now, remember, Trump always paid his bills. Like, nobody had to foreclose on his buildings. This never happened before to Trump. So, at least from Tish's perspective, anything she's prosecuted him on. So he initiated foreclosure proceedings. And then guess what? AG Tish, she opposed and blocked it. She claimed the mortgage was invalid. Sorry, you're a board member. You can't have a mortgage. So that $3 million that you were owed, gone.
Damn.
You don't get that money back.
Yep. Just on a whim, on her whim.
Mortgage is invalid. That's because you can't now foreclose on this, and now it's our property. So basically, she just stole that dude's $3 million. So on Friday, Doyle, that guy who lost $3 million, thanks to Tish, filed a lawsuit against the society and requested a subpoena be issued against James, requiring her to produce a raft of documents. Tish, let's see your generally accepted accounting principles, your GAAP procedures, Tish, including anything related to campaign events that you hosted at the townhouse or any contributions to her political campaigns from the society, from the Irish Society or DeWack of its members or directors. Now, Doyle's lawyer, look at this name. You remember this name?
Tim Parlatore.
Remember him? That's a Trump lawyer. Former Trump lawyer. Alleges that James' enthusiastic involvement in the Doyle case may be driven by connections with the defendant. Very curious. Now, what is that? And he points out that there are uncanny similarities between Doyle's predicament.
You know what I like about, Robert here is that he beats around the bush enough that we can sit here and comment without pausing the video.
And the notorious case that was brought against Trump. Apparently, Trump inflated the values of his property, right, to get a better mortgage. Now, although her office is now taking the polar opposite position of that. So the lawsuit says that Doyle was given from Cahill and backed by James at some point, fraudulently inflated valuations of the townhouse. Oh my goodness. Saying that its market value is over $80 million. Cahill and the society's current president general, James, made representations to Doyle that the building had, quote, air rights and they could build up, right, which is important in New York. But in reality, nope, there are no air rights. Hey, Trump never promised that or said anything like that to the banks. The actual value is not actually 80 million. It's closer to 20 million. So they made a gross overvaluation of the townhouse, and that induced Doyle to make the $3 million loan. He's like, I'll give you a $3 million loan on 80, but not on 20. So Tish said, remember, no one's above the law. And she posts her stupid X posts all over the place because she's got nothing, else that she actually does other than just media, which should include Tish James, who actively aided and abetted in the art of the steal. Shout out to Tim.
And so that's probably enough of that. I mean, you get the story now.
Right. So I'm going to go back to a comment real quick. And we're going to expound on that together, Mr. News. Are you saying that Mel Gibson and R. Kelly have been targets from the deep state?
Oh,
you're damn right.
Hell yeah.
You're damn right they have been.
And not just the deep state, but people in Hollywood and in the record industry who are looking at these folks and saying, dude, they're getting too much juice and we need to do something about it before that happens.
So let's break that down a little bit more since you jumped into that, and I'm going to dive into that really, really, really quickly so we can understand what's happening. In 2019, R. Kelly had reached his 30-year mark as an artist. Any artist that has a 30-year career is eligible to receive their masters and everything that comes with it. You have to think about it. R. Kelly has written for Celine Dion. He has written for Michael Jackson. He has written for Luther Vandross, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Not to mention, he has the most extensive personal catalog of most artists besides people like Prince, Michael Jackson, the Beatles, and all of that. Valued at a price of billion dollars. Sorry, I was about to underestimate my man. Shit, $1.5 billion. And the moment that he applied for his master's, all allegations and people came out of the woodworks. Kind of similar to when Donald Trump came down that escalator and announced that he was running for president. Women came from everywhere claiming that he sexually assaulted them. That was the first thing that they tried to do to Trump, and it didn't freaking work. They tried to have Stormy Daniels along with Michael Avenatti to come along and try to sue the man. And when he lost, he went to R. Kelly, because Michael Avenatti was a part of the deep state. And they were propping him up. The View, all of these people, CBS, NBC, MSNBS, CNN, are deep state news networks. And
the
they
next
were
president he was supposed to be. A lot of people forget that.
Yes. It was not supposed to be Joe Biden. It was supposed to be Michael Avenatti. Michael Avenatti. Michael Avenatti sat with Nike and said out of his own mouth, just like R. Kelly, just like Donald Trump, 90% of it is bullshit. It always is. So if you are a Trump detractor, you are sitting detracting on 90% bullshit. 90%. Just like R. Kelly.
And if you wonder why we keep bouncing back and forth between, Trump and R. Kelly, it's because they're using the same playbook in both instances to try to ramrod bullshit through the judicial system faster than the real information can come out. And so if that happens, then you get situations that have happened like R. Kelly, where they couldn't prove him guilty. So they did it in a roundabout way to put him away so that he can't defend himself adequately.
Literally,
and that's exactly what they're trying to do to Trump.
Literally placing this man in solitary confinement for 72 days to drive him fucking crazy, so that they could try to get a confession out of him over the TrueView phone system at the prison. How you doing, Nisi?
Hello, babe. Hello. Hello. Can y'all hear me?
I want y'all to, forgive Nisi for the first 2 minutes. She's actually having some allergy issues, which is causing for her throat to kind of be a little scratchy. But once she get warmed up, it's going down. Y'all already know what time it is.
Well, hey, Noobs, how you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing all right, girl. How are you?
I'm holding on.
You sound a little bit better.
I sound a little bit better. I'm glad.
A little bit better.
I'm glad. I'm trying to get better. I gotta get better. The devil is a lie. He won't take me down like this here.
I know that's right.
But I wanted to bring out the fact that none of this would have happened if Bob hadn't put in. He requests his masters. He put in the request. You have to put the request in early.
Mm-hmm.
So he put in the request early, And when he put the request in, I think it was 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a lot going on in 2017 when, after he put this request in. So, and that was during the time um, President Trump was in office. So he started to see things, moving in a different direction. President Trump, he started to see things, people starting to do things that just didn't line up with the way that it should. So I said all that to say, when he put in his request for his masters, that's when, he found out a whole lot that was supposed to have happened, that should have happened when he first signed his signed for his with his first contract. Rob was underage. That's the first thing. He did not have anyone to go with him, legal guardian. So they took advantage of him from the beginning, and they
Mm-hmm.
knew this. So what they thought is, if they put him away, then nobody else, because they wanted to put doubt in everybody's mind regarding this man. And so, they had already been talking periodically, about him supposedly have been with these 12, 13, 14-year-old girls. But in the courts, we found no 12, 13, 14-year-old girls. And the girl that claimed she was 14, she contradicted her lie because she said she was a virgin at 14. And then she turned around and say that she had sex at 14. So you can't be a virgin and have sex at 14.
Can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. You got to have it one way or the other.
Maybe she is
So
one of these modern folks that just identifies as, a milk cupboard at any random time.
they a lot of these people really, women really think that I really believe that they think that Robert is Jesus. When they want to
Mm-hmm.
sit over here and say that we believe that Rob is Jesus, no, they won't. They really think that Rob is Jesus. He can be at multiple places at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Then
not have to
that's
prove any of it.
Hey, Noob, check this out right here. This comment. This is for you. How interesting is that? Because he was charged with the Mann Act, and Jack
Yep.
Johnson was,
Yep.
was pardoned
Yep.
for that exact same shit.
And who pardoned him? Who
Donald
pardoned him?
J. Trump, baby.
And the people, hear me when I say this, people. And the people had the people that shouldn't have had a problem with it. So I need people to make that make sense. Black people, how do you have a problem with Donald Trump, who you claim is so prejudiced, who hate black people,
Right.
pardoning a black man?
Black men,
Men.
And women.
plural,
Multiple.
and women.
That's
Black
why I don't
people.
understand. Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
need people to make it all make sense to me. Make it make sense, because it's not making sense to me. See, this is when I look at this here at back in the day, for those that have not, if you haven't, and I know that a lot of people haven't, I'm begging you, go read the Willie Lynch letter. That letter was written for people like you, whose mind can't come far from beyond and think for yourself, because you're still thinking with that slave mindset. Some of us have moved forward. Some of us know how to think for ourselves. Now, nobody, and I'm speaking now to the so-called Christians. Nobody have found any wrongdoings when it comes to Barack Obama. But you can find everything wrong with Donald Trump. Even I'm gonna do a hypothetical. Even if it's racism, racism, according to the Word of God, can be forgiven. It's not abomination unto God. But same sex
Big
marriage.
Vi, real quick, Big Vi, I want to let you in, but it's saying your device ain't connected, man. Go ahead and do a reset on me. I'm gonna put you out and let's just jump back in for me. All right,
Now
come
we
on
can
back in,
speak
brother.
in such a horrific way when it comes to Donald Trump, but nowhere in the Bible does it say that it's an abomination unto God. Now, this is where you got to understand how you know that this is a spiritual warfare. When the church can find every excuse and every reason being that Donald Trump is racist, he's this and he's that, but you cannot come and find it within your being to say that Barack Obama brought us as a people, the whole world, into a place of hell, damnation to hell. Because you got young people, young children that don't know the difference, that don't understand what's right and what's wrong. You have to be taught right from wrong. You have to be even racism. That's a taught behavior.
Yep,
That's
it's
a
definitely
learned
learned.
behavior.
It's definitely learned. So look, I've been spewing this at people since I got on. I started really talking about Donald Trump. I'm originally from Gary, Indiana, and jobs were done
Hmm.
in 1993. I just started high school, and I promise you, and I will read this to you just so you know in short that this man is not what these people are saying that he is. Gary, Indiana. Just 5 months after the Indiana Riverboat Gambling Act went into law, developer, real estate mogul, and future president of the United States, Donald Trump, pitched a proposal for bringing gambling to Gary. We're going to build something this area has never, and that includes Chicago. Can you imagine? You know, so and something that they've never seen. Trump said it's going to be first class and it's going to be world class. Okay, so this is a prototype of the riverboat that he built, and it looked just like that. And this was actually everything. He was going to build a hotel. Well, the hotel was built and it's still there. Well, and it's still there. And this was the construction idea, and that's exactly what it looks like to this day. It's now the Majestic 1 and 2 because he ended up pulling out. So you look at all of this, and you can see he's in Gary giving speeches, and he's in there with all of these black politicians because that's all it was in Gary, really, to be honest with you, making things happen for the people, the impoverished, disenfranchised black people in Gary. So when you come running your damn mouth talking about a man that's racist, I got your ass. Not true. Not true. We really have to look beyond what these dumbasses are telling you on these television stations. And that's just the real. You know, I'm here for fighting for injustice for all. They sit up and they lie on these people because they don't like them, and the media has the potential to propagandize and make a person look guilty because they'll run a story over and over and over and over again, and people will tell you, well, I saw it on the news. I don't give a damn what you saw. Do your research. And on my own show, I'm gonna yield back to my guests.
Well, I saw on the news and I saw in person when the world took a turn for the worse instead of the better. There is nothing that Barack Obama, um, Joe Biden, and even the president before Barack Obama have really done to help us.
They've,
Donald Trump came
yeah,
in and he fixed things that was broken. And I'm here to tell people I am in the oil and gas industry. If you don't have oil and gas, I'm telling you, you're in trouble. Every other every other entity will fall. You need the oil and gas industry to be up and moving and profitably. Because when it's not, everything connected to it, and I mean everything. So that means housing, the housing market, whatever jobs you think you're going to get, those jobs are in jeopardy. Everything in the United States, is circled around oil and gas, whether we want to accept it or not.
This
And
right
I,
here this right here is a very true statement. He brought the most to it. You know, there was nothing but the steel mill. And trust and believe me, it was the steel mill is a nepotism situation. Now it's no more because guess who owns US Steel?
Chinese,
Japan, China, or whoever the hell.
right? Yeah.
Somebody, China, shit. And that's even worse.
listen, and I know, listen, Derek, I think I told you when when Chevron acquired Unical, we come to Chicago. I was in Chicago for 3 months, and they had the um, the coal mine out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that we were, you know, transitioning, but I didn't realize that what we was doing, we was Chevron was setting up for, to sell everything dealing with the coal mine because they don't want to deal with that anymore because they feel that everything dealing in that industry, in that part of the industry, is hazardous. Listen,
Hmm.
don't ever think go green doesn't have a hazard behind it.
Hmm. I'm here to tell you. And it's so sad, man. A lot of this stuff really like saddens the hell out of me because of the mindless sheep that follow everything, every single thing that the media tells them. Even when Fox says some shit, I gotta fact check that shit.
Oh, no doubt. They're just as bad. They're just on the, you know, on the conservative side. And so yeah, Fox News is just as bad. You got to listen carefully to what they're not saying and then, go do your own research on the matter.
These
Right,
people, all of them, go along to get along and don't have our best interest at heart, period.
right,
Nope, they got their best interests at heart.
Thank you,
Their
sweetie.
paychecks are
Thank
what
you.
is at heart. And I mean, oh, yeah. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Now, the reason why they claim Donald Trump don't care for the armed forces is because he said he will not stand for you joining the armed forces just to get a sex change. And that's not going to happen on his watch. And I do not blame him. So I want to know if that's not a spiritual warfare or not.
It is. I mean, because you're literally trying to change what is intended. I feel like if God gave you a dick, you need to deal with it. If he gave you a coochie, you need to deal with it. You know, I
In
mean,
whatever fashion, you need to deal with it, and that's it, and that's all.
deal with it. Big Vi, what's going on, baby?
Hello, my nephew.
He might be, you know what I'm saying, that he might be over there frying some good old fish or something. What you
Man,
cooking?
what up? What up? What up?
Oh, there he
What
is.
up? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
You been sleeping?
Oh no, I was lit. Nah, my phone tripping. I don't know, man. But I'm with you, Derek, man. I mean, could you imagine this world if everything that God created, He looked at some of it and be like, "Oh, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to be that. I want you to be this." Or let me, you know. God found use in every creation that he made. He found use or a purpose for that. He didn't say, "Well, I'm going to change you from this to that, or from that to this." You know what I'm saying? But now we dealing with mankind, and mankind continue to slap God in the face when they go against when they feel like they can recreate what He produced.
You know what? But the crazy thing about it is he give you free will to be a dumbass.
Oh yeah.
Knowing, and people don't even realize that lake of fire is for real. Yo,
That
well,
part
good.
right there. That's the part that you need to stay right there, Derek. You can stay right there for a few minutes. You and Vi. Y'all can stay right there on that pause right there.
That lake of fire is for real. You know,
Oh yeah.
people have gotten so far removed from what God has intended for all of us, and they want to do what they intend for us.
Right, man.
We don't live in a do as thou wilt situation.
But you look at it though, when you go back to the beginnings of the Bible, and it tell you sin was casted in the world by the human, you know, and even when God punished the humans, there wasn't enough for it to stop. It just only got worse from that point on.
Yeah,
You know,
Exactly.
it's study showing like,
But it
but
still go back by we still got to put the position where the position lies. God did not put the position in the woman's hand. He put the position in the man's hand. That
because
lead position will always remain
yeah.
in the man's hand.
But that's what the world. That's what we speak about. What's going on in the world now? They literally trying to switch roles, you know,
Thank you.
and it's not going to happen. It can't happen. And I don't agree
Because
with a
that
lot of
means
the
God
stuff
will be a lie.
Charleston. I don't agree with a lot of stuff Charleston White say, but some stuff he say makes sense. You can't put the world in the hands of a woman. She too emotional, man. You know, it's too much. You putting everybody at jeopardy with this world in the hands of a woman.
okay, and we're gonna expound on that. Now, let's be honest.
Please do.
You got a lot of single mothers out here by design from the government,
Hmm,
and
hmm.
there is no way you are lucky. Well, you actually blessed if you raise a man and a man ain't around to help you.
Hmm.
You are absolutely blessed. But
That's a rarity.
the thing about it is, and I had to kill this for myself because I was raised by a single mother. I was raised by a single mother that was in the system. Okay. And it's crippling to a man. Now, me, the first thing that I tried to do when I got 18 was get out the house and be a man. I went to the army and they taught me how to be squared away, how to be in order. and not be all over the place and not be emotional. And make sure that everything, it's a place for everything in its place. And not to have fear. And because a lot of times you can see in the Black community, Black mothers are so protective of their sons that they cripple them. And then on top of all of that, they are so emotional that they create emotional men, which when they go out to the clubs or they go out to the bar, then somebody look at their ass wrong and they gotta die. Because it's an emotional response and you want an immediate reaction, and then these men are in jail because they don't know why they shot somebody because you was in your feelings. But any man knows that you can resolve an issue and go home, and the next person can go home.
Because it's not that serious.
Any real man knows that if you see and the problem is we got a lot of people in this world that aren't willing, especially men that are scared and afraid, and people that are scared and afraid to look the other people in the eye because their soul is corrupted, and the eyes are the windows to your soul, and you don't want people to see you. And that's what we're dealing with this far left.
They're attacking the emotional state of the people in this country.
Absolutely.
And they're using their emotion to form judgment of what they're hearing. And they say their emotions allow them to say, Donald Trump's a racist. Well, then what did you think about Joe Biden? They don't know nothing because the media not attacking Biden in a way that they're attacking Donald Trump. Oh, R. Kelly's a rapist. Why you say that about R. Kelly? Because the media attacks your emotional state. Because when you hear sexual assault, it resonates with you because we know this is common. This is something that goes on. And of course, if a woman hear that another woman was sexually assaulted, she's going to automatically side with her, but she's not going to even question the woman. Well, then, can you tell me what happened, what led up to you being in this position? She don't ask them questions. She just go with, oh, she was sexually assaulted. I stand by her. But she don't understand the elements that what took place. And then when you hear the truth, oh, well, then they were in a relationship and she got mad because she went through his phone and he was texting another woman. All of a sudden, now she a victim. But she's still going to stand by this woman and not hold this woman accountable for lying on this man.
Right.
Speak, baby.
Absolute foolishness, man. And there's no accountability for a person that tells a fucking lie against somebody. You got E. Jean Carroll running around this bitch. This done won an $80-something million settlement talking about taking some other female fucking shopping and making a joke of the shit.
Well, news could probably attest to this. I mean, any one of us can attest to this. If you pay 80-something million, you lose an $80-something million judgment. You gonna go pay 90-something million to challenge it?
Exactly. That doesn't
And
make
you
any sense.
and you guilty?
You
So
just gotta make
up.
some.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Dr. Evil sitting in his chair going, $100 million.
Right. Dumbass.
Like, who gonna fight something if they know it's a possibility that they did this? And that's what I tell people. When people say, well, you should take a plea deal. Now, if I know it's a possibility that I did do something or I was near this crime, I may take a plea deal because I'm not finna challenge these people. But if I
You
know I'm
already know.
100% innocent,
You ain't
oh
gonna get
man,
nothing out of me.
hell
Speak,
no,
baby. And
hell
go
no.
there, Vi, because see, a lot of people don't know that the trials that Robert went through, it wasn't because of no so-called victims. He said take it to trial.
He took it to
Mm-hmm.
trial. They wanted him to take a 10-year plea, and he turned it down.
Because he
Right.
said I'm innocent.
Yep.
Because if
I'm
you
gonna
plead, the thing about it is, if you plead guilty to something, you can't go back and challenge the shit. And this is what I was explaining the other day with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby never pleaded guilty. They may say he was found guilty, but he never pled guilty. So when he sat in there for 2 years, they came to Bill Cosby and say, if you just admit to the crime, we will let you go today. Bill Cosby say, well, at this age, I might well sit the rest of my time out. 6 months later, they say Bill Cosby is being set free from jail. Now,
Out
what
of
if he would have used that moment when they offered him to be released that day? If he would have pled guilty, he had to register as a sex offender, everything, just to be out of prison. And 6 months later, they come and release the man from prison because of Supreme Court say they did something that was unconstitutional. This is what our government does.
Nobody is better at extortion than the government. And that goes for any country in the world.
Speak,
Well,
sweetie. Speak.
So Michael Ataz, boy, he done broke this thing down. Biggest breakdown of the black family was caused by President Lyndon B. Johnson. The Civil Rights Act and Welfare Reform Act. The minute you took family aid from local churches, you broke the family structure. Yes.
And we spent some time talking about that before.
Hold on, Derek. Hold on. Back up. I'm sorry. And it's some things that my dad is deceased and dead and gone. And my dad was part of the Black Baptist Convention of America. And he always had questions regarding the convention, the Baptist Convention. Y'all, when I recently found out the real truth behind the Black Baptist Convention, the kickbacks that they've been taking, and we have been suffering behind this shit. Y'all better go start and read and understand. And that does not mean that my faith in Christ has wavered. No, it just only made me stronger. But the Baptist Convention, until this day, they are taking freaking kickbacks with the Democratic Party. That's why they fight so hard for them.
Absolutely. So look, if you look on the screen, everybody, I want to introduce you to Carrie Young. Okay? Carrie Young, if you can look at her, you know what I'm saying? She got a little hue on that skin. You feel me? Carrie Young is a mixed woman. Carrie Young is a woman that Donald Trump was in a relationship with for 2 years. Carrie Young was right before his wife that's not American, Melania. So what I want you to do, and anybody in this chat that don't like Trump, and one of the things that people say, like I said, is Trump is racist. How many of y'all looking at this picture right now can say out of your mouth, Trump's racist? I want to see it in the chat. Go. And on that note, we're gonna switch up, we're gonna pivot a little bit, and I'm gonna take that off. And we're going to run into something else real quick, because I like to see the mentality of far left idiots get stole on. And there's nobody else that can steal on somebody on the far left side than this young lady right here. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. We're going to get this rolling. It's my fault, once I get that little stuff in me, it sometimes I get a little sketchy, but I'm with y'all. Don't even worry about it. So we're gonna go ahead and move to this, pivot to this, and nobody does it better when it comes to putting a good old roasting down on somebody than Miss Candace Owens. So we're gonna go ahead and let her do her thing here shortly. Once I go ahead and move this, whatever this is here, off my screen. Is it still on my screen, people?
Yeah, her picture is still up.
Okay, shit. Let's see if we can get this rolling. Because I'm trying to get rid of it. Jesus Christ. Oh, how do I? Oh, yeah, I got it. I know what to do. My bad. Like I said, it gets a little sketchy there. But I'm
Oh,
all right.
Bill, I already know this is going to be bad.
Lie to the American people about elections, even though nobody ever really did that before. But okay, he's on trial for breaking specific laws, forgery.
Well, I mean, no one's ever done
Forgery.
before. Stacey Abrams
He
tested her
forged-
election and said that it was.
Well,
it
that's
was-
that's
so let's be
yes, that. But okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I concede.
okay. Hillary
I'm-
Clinton took a very long time. I don't think she's
Hillary
still.
Clinton.
This dude looked like somebody's old grandmama, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He is so caught up in what the far left has peddled that he.
Is that Miss Doubtfire?
Oh shit,
What is it?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh.
I mean, shit. Oh my god,
Was there before the night was over in her purple suit.
that's a lie. Hillary Clinton did not do her acceptance speech in 2016 until the next fucking day because she was distraught like every other motherfucker on the left because they thought that Trump was not going to win that election. He
And she
just
was
sat
trying
there.
to find a way to keep her own ass out of jail.
He is lying his ass off real quick.
Candace Owens arguing with political commentator and old woman lookalike Bill Maher about all things Trump. Welcome to Nurk
Did
News.
he
I'm
just call him
Nurkish.
a-
And it looks like Candace Owens was brave enough
So, sir, he called him an old woman look-alike. Good God.
to venture into Uncle Touchy's puzzle basement to discuss politics
Look at him. He over there. Look at that picture. He's like, hey, girl. Hey, y'all see him? Oh, punk.
on Club Random. For those of you who don't know, Club Random is a podcast hosted by Bill Maher, and it's a lot like his show on HBO, except he doesn't prepare and he's stoned and drunk all the time.
The thing that I'm trying to get you
Shut up.
to say though, we know that you hate Trump. That has been abundantly obvious.
Yes,
I
we
actually
do.
think that Trump out of office
For good
Was it-
reason.
was a good thing for your show because it allowed you to.
It's not
to-
about my show, Candace.
No.
That's insulting.
No.
It's insulting.
I'm saying because people.
It's the truth, though. I don't think she lied. That was
Well,
my
and that's, that's when they're most insulted is when they get called out for their bullshit.
right. That's what we say over here. And a hit dog is going to holler. So check her goofball ass out. Oh, God.
People that
Can we
weren't
just-
watching
She is goofy, and I love it because she's goofy with facts. She will lace your ass.
your show that you didn't really finish. You can't
Okay,
be told by
but-
sentence I didn't finish.
No, but you keep
I was gonna
implying
say
that,
that-
I'm. Can we just have this professional courtesy that I concede and I believe you believe everything you say.
Yeah.
Give me the same courtesy.
I said I believe you hate Trump, and
well,
I
you're
said
saying I'm doing things for ratings or to bring in a
that
different
I didn't even
audience.
bring up
I
ratings.
never
no, I
do
said
any.
I actually believe that literally.
If you're smart, you will want to bring in a different audience. You want to be as diverse as possible, you idiot.
Amongst my audiences,
Okay.
more conservatives started watching you post Trump,
Yes,
myself included.
but that's a big.
That's not a bad.
But that's not.
I'm sorry,
because-
I said you got a bigger audience now.
But-
Like, oh
yeah,
my
but-
gosh, are
no,
you
but
going
you-
to
but
call
you
yourself
would-
the
no,
more
that's
people
not-
like
no.
me?
Good Lord. That's hilarious. She tearing his ass up already.
No, you ascribed a reason to it that's not true.
Now, I know this isn't directly pertinent to the discussion about Trump, but I wanted to include it because it highlights how, just like Trump, Candace is an expert troll. I mean, people like Marvel suggest that their opposition are stupid conspiracy theorists or hateful monsters for their beliefs. But if you dare to slightly impugn their motives, it's the end of the world.
That is probably one of the most on point things that I have heard. This is the same thing that we've dealt with in the R. Kelly fight. This is the same thing that any Trump supporter deals with at any given time when you explain to people why you support. Why? Because he has policies, and they'll say some stupid shit like Biden and the infrastructure, some shit that you hit a pothole, dodging a bigger one, dodging a smaller one, you hit a bigger one. Craziness.
I mean, you saw it when that NPC meme was going around and people were defacing his and John Oliver's billboards by suggesting that they're narrative-driven liberal puppets.
Everything was about Trump.
I agree.
Right, and it wasn't. It's never been that way for any other president. Never, and not everything was about
Because
Obama.
other
No,
presidents weren't a nut like that.
we have definitely I think I believe that and we can disagree on this. I think that from the second he announced that he was coming down, there was a media obsession with taking him down. Like,
Check this out, R. Kelly supporters.
I was on the liberal side, and it turned me into a conservative. It was vicious. It was
There-
nasty. It was
there
calling
was,
him
but
things
that-
that he
but that-
wasn't.
there
you know,
was,
you
but
didn't
that's
participate in that. But
but there
pretending that
was-
Trump was like a avowed racist that was trying to bring back the Klansman
Okay.
was a little bit like dramatic. You know.
But that happens with every president. Yes, that's what they do.
Look,
They
the
try to
media has
destroy.
never
They
been
didn't try to
more-
destroy Obama.
Not in the way that they come on Trump. You had the Lisa
Oh,
Bloom
please.
period where
Oh,
you had
Candace.
85 million women that came out of the woodwork with
Did y'all hear that?
allegations. And where were you guys? He's been in the public sphere for the last 30 years. He's had
Did you hear that?
shows. Where were you guys with your allegations before he announced running president? I mean, it was so obviously a ratchet job.
The problem Bill is having here is with the definition of the word they. Candace is using it to mean the establishment, Hollywood, politicians, journalists, academia. It goes on and on. Bill means it like Republicans and Fox News said some unfavorable things about Obama one time. I mean, find me a single story from that time that mainstream conservatives ran with that comes remotely close to any of the things they've done with Trump.
Anytime somebody says something about Obama, it went away the very next day. They say something about Trump, you got to hear about that shit for months. That's the difference.
Just look at it. They've edited clips, misquoted him, taken things out of context, and outright lied to push their agenda. Which, by the way, despite being debunked, people still believe a lot of that propaganda. Here's Bill harping on the grab him by the hoo-ha thing.
One of them's right from the horse's mouth
One of
saying,
them-
I grabbed.
He didn't say I grabbed.
He did!
He said these. He was talking.
You see that? He swears he did, but anybody who listened to it and has a thinking brain knows that he was saying when you're famous, if you're famous, females will let you walk up to them and grab them by the you know what. That's what he was saying. He didn't say he didn't say one time I just walked up to somebody and grabbed them by the coochie. He. No, he was saying that if you're famous, this is a possibility. Because women love famous men and they will let famous men do whatever the fuck they want to do to them. And then when they want to get some fucking money, here they come with an allegation. Let's proceed.
About groupies. He said they will literally let you do anything, including grab them by the.
He wasn't
P
talking
word.
about groupies.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Never said that word. He said when you're a star.
Yes.
That's
And when you're a star, what do you have? Groupies.
that's quite a leap to say we're just talking about groupies. And by the way,
He didn't say I grabbed this woman by the P word, and I think that that's a part of when I say there's so many
He-
media hoaxes. Just be
he
honest.
said you can
You've
grab
never-
him by the pussy. He said you can grab him by the pussy.
Yeah.
And you can do anything. You can grab
Yeah,
him
these
by
girls, when they see a star. That's literally, by the way, just to be clear, that's a fact.
You know, this is something Bill has been obsessed with forever, and I don't really understand it. Like, Maher is basically a famous degenerate pervert. You figured he'd be able to understand what Trump was suggesting there. I mean, he can read and interpret all these supposed hidden dog whistles and conservative messaging, but he can't grasp that some women are attracted to rich and famous people. I mean, if they weren't, please explain Gene Simmons to me then. You know, Bill's acting like Trump made a confession or something. Candace was 100% correct in this whole interview, and Bill was woefully underprepared for a guy who absolutely hates Trump. You figured you'd have a little bit more justification ready. But let me know what you think. Will Maher ever see the double standard at play here? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Boy.
And always make sure you go over there and you subscribe to Nerk News, man. That's some good content as well. It's exactly right. This is 100% correct, man. People are really sitting up here and missing the mark on their thought process with this, man. And it's almost insane to me that people are missing the mark. They can't see it. The hate is such a blinding thing. It blinds people. It changes perception of reality and everything, man. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's one of those. It's like a unicorn almost. I don't understand. Go ahead, Bruce.
The other piece of that, you know, because once they've already, you know, participated in the hate, you know, because a lot of these folks, they found out later, you know, like there's people finding out now what the real deal is, but now they feel the fool because they spent all those years running their mouth about shit that they didn't understand, shit that was a lie. And so they'll double down because they've already been made the fool. Because they bought it all. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and you know, this is a tale as old as time. And I try to tell people, man, if you don't know your history, you are destined to repeat that shit. The propaganda train has been rolling for years and years and years and years. And it has been used to make things happen. And it has been used to hurt people, literally hurt people. Propaganda is just simply a news media posting some shit that's absolutely not true in order to invoke reaction from a specific group of people or from all people. So, you know, it's as simple as the Tulsa, Oklahoma. And basically what happened in that city when it came to how there was a rape accusation, and the only thing that happened was a young man tripped in an elevator and fell against a woman. She screamed. He was like, oh shit, white woman screams. He runs. And they created articles and they created all of these things in order to perpetuate a narrative to rile up people. By the time 2 days had passed, the whole Black Wall Street district was burned to the ground. 300 people killed. Thousands of black people misplaced. And you want to sit up here and run your mouth about a fucking insurrection that I promise wasn't a pitchfork, wasn't shit. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, they dropped turpentine bombs on people's houses. They didn't have nothing to do with the situation that went on. And you mean to tell me that you can call anything that Trump did the worst thing that ever happened in America? You have me fucked up.
Yeah, I still had cities burning, but January 6th was the worst thing ever.
That wasn't the only city that a massacre happened in. That wasn't the only place where shit's been burnt down. Fuck. The riots in 1992, the Rodney King riots was worse than that. Any riot that we've ever seen has been worse than that shit. And I'm being honest, and it was black people, for the most part, perpetuating the 92 riots, pulling white folks out of cars, kicking their asses for nothing. Just because they rolled through. And that was bad. It was horrible. It was a stain. Understandably, it was a verdict. And check it out. The reason why that shit happened is because it was a verdict that popped off that wasn't just. And some shit that happened that people knew was bullshit, and they took to the fucking streets. I promise you, we can't have a stolen election again. It's going to be anarchy every fucking well. Hell, I might be out there my damn self. We can't have it. There is no way that you go and stand in a fucking line and place your fucking vote and sit there in the cold and sit there for hours and catch a cold and shit outside, and then you find out your shit didn't count. This is all of this shit that's happening to Donald Trump, all of the shit that happened to R. Kelly is letting us know that our rights as human beings are not respected. They're not protected right now. We got to do better. We got to pay attention to this shit. And I know this is probably one of the more serious situations on the live. You've seen me. I've been pretty serious today, but I've been watching a lot of real shit. And it's not fair for them to do what they're doing to Donald Trump, trying to break him like they broke R. Kelly so that they can have an easy route to a prosecution. This is the plan. This is the plan. And if you can't see it, you just can't see. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. If you can't think beyond a surface level, you aren't a critical thinker. You definitely ain't a provoked one. And I hope that everybody that tunes in to me is a provoked one, because they provoked the shit out of me. Hey, Big Vi, you still in the building, baby? Because we gonna pivot.
Yeah, I'm still here listening.
We're about to pivot in a second. So, like I said, we're gonna talk about a lot of things today, and we're gonna kind of cruise off of we've been doing our similes and comparisons, and I don't went on my Trump rants and everything, and and you never know, we might come back, because like I said, my job and what I feel like that I've been placed here to do is to show you these comparisons, show you the injustices, wake a couple minds up and just say, maybe it's not quite like I think it is. Maybe I need to look at it from this perspective. Maybe I need to say, hey, I need to stop hating a person and just look at it, because the person that I want free, people hate him too. Pretty much some of the same people that hate him hate the person that Provoked Thoughts is talking about, as well as the person that the other people hate. So it makes perfect sense to just kind of place these things together and understand what's happening. Understand that this is actually a robbery of rights, a robbery of your due process, your life, your liberty, and your property is what they're trying to do. And they're trying to take it to the highest level and say, if we can deprive and take money and take resources and take property from a former American president, what makes you think that they can't walk up to your house and say it's not yours anymore?
They're doing that too.
Absolutely.
All of these, if anybody takes the time to look in and see what's going on in the housing market right now, there are a couple of, big corporations. Microsoft is one of them, funded by the government, who are going out and buying every foreclosed piece of property that they can get their hands on. And I think so far, at the last estimate, the government now owns like 1/3 of all the private property in America. That's insane. What's going on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They get people in these reverse ass mortgages.
And what happens when they hit the wall and they can't buy any more of these properties? More of the same shit that you see going on to Donald Trump is what's going to happen.
That's literally what they did to a lot of black people that bought homes in the 50s and 60s. They put them in loans, and the moment that they couldn't make a fucking payment, I'm talking about one of them bitches, they was coming for their shit.
Mm-hmm. And not just black people. I mean, because that has been done the world over.
One payment, and they coming for your shit. And the crazy thing about it is it's still going on. They still have companies and banks and shit that pull this shit on you.
Yep.
Get you completely upside down, switch companies on your ass, and then your rate goes up. Nine times out of 10, they just switch company names. And it's the same fucking people.
That's like they were stealing R. Kelly money. They had the man had a bank account, RSK, LLC, but they had RSK Incorporated, RSK Nonprofit, RSK. They had so many accounts attached to this man's account to where he was getting money and they was quick as the money was going in his main account, they was dispersing it to all these other attached accounts and shit. So yeah, that's what these people do, man.
Right. It's
These motherfuckers,
crazy.
they commit these white collar crimes all the time. I'm telling you, this shit about money. It's about money and it's about power, man. It ain't
I'm gonna be
about
honest, this shit that Letitia James mud duck ass done did is worse than Bernie Madoff, bro. This is worse than Madoff, dog. Shit is crazy. Like her and Ingeron did a whole scheme on this man. How the fuck you gonna sit up here and say I already found you guilty, even though appellate court said he didn't do shit wrong? Well, I already found you guilty, so we just gonna figure out how much money you gonna give up, and you already had the number in your damn head.
That's the same thing Ann Donnelly said about R. Kelly.
Right.
I knew I was gonna give you 30 years before you even walked in my courtroom.
Boy.
Like, this is the shit that we're dealing with.
And the fuckery is, I just hope that they read that shit and see that. But wait, oh, whoa, no, that's bias. Bye. You go home, sir. Seriously. If that ain't bias, I don't know what is. I just don't know what the fuck it is. And we look at the biased media every single day. And we listen to them tell the same fucking lies and do the same. They use the same software to chop and screw and cut and paste on Donald Trump.
Hey, cue my screen.
I got you.
Oh, yup.
I support the current causes. I have empathy and manners. I got pronouns in my bio. Pray for countries in my banner. I can't wait to get my 7 shot. It's written in my planner. I don't use emojis. They appropriate those who are tanner. Wait a minute, you didn't post a black square for Black Lives Matter? If you don't wear a mask, that makes you an anti-masker. If you don't get the vax, that makes you an anti-vaxxer. If you don't watch Funhouse, that makes you anti-Danny Tanner. Wait, you don't listen to Nelly? You're anti-country grammar. You're Home Depot-ophobic. Why are you so anti-hammer? Maybe you're anti-ladder, anti-former, anti-ladder. Are you anti-Aaron Rodgers or just more like anti-Packer? You're a dude but won't wear makeup. Why are you so anti-glamour? You don't think Green Lives Matter? Why are you anti-Bruce Banner? You don't like the Rolling Stones? Wow, you're anti-Mick Jagger. If you're offended by my rhymes, that makes you anti-rapper. Call me racist, call me bigot, call me homophobe. All because I know the difference in your chromosomes. We living in a clown world, got the only hope. When these politicians puppets like Pinocchio. I'm so anti-everything, I'm so anti-everything. Yeah, I'm so anti-everything, I'm so anti-everything. Yeah, literally shaking right now, that is my slogan. Ivermectin is a horse drug for people like Joe Rogan. Fidel Castro is my hero, not that Nazi Ben Shapiro. We should all just stay inside until the carbon net is zero. I'm so anti-sound of freedom, anti-cop until I need them. Use minorities for virtue signaling, that's how I treat them. I'm so anti-Tesla, bro, plus I'm anti-gas and coal. Wait, but don't those two contradict each other? Well, yeah, I know, I'm so anti-chromosome, I'm so anti-Alex Jones. Trump was in the movie, so now I am anti-Home Alone. Voted Biden cause he said that he'd forgive my student loans. I think kids should be allowed to cut off their boobs and their Jones. I'm so anti-two genders, I'm so anti-Bruce Jenner.
That's everything we've been talking about for a week.
She's a trans exclusionary radical feminist, which is a term we just made up but doesn't really exist. Call me racist, call me bigot, call me homophobe. All because I know the difference in your chromosomes. We living in a clown world, got the only hope. When these politicians puppets like Pinocchio. I'm so anti-everything, I'm so anti-everything. Yeah, I'm so anti-everything, I'm so anti-everything. Yeah.
Well, damn.
That's enough of that silliness.
Well, damn. I'm with it. I like that. Say, I'm so anti-everything. That's seriously, like, you hand them a little dope. See, and the problem is people don't understand that the media, these people clock in and clock out like everybody else.
Yeah, and that at the very first part, where he's sitting there, he's doing his newscast. They just hand him a big old bundle of cash. He's like, "Yep."
Like, so let's get to the
pocket. Yep, and keep reading this thing here. That's why they all sound alike. That's why when you put news channels, up against each other, they're all saying they're reading from the same script.
They are. And like I said, it's so funny because I've been looking for lately since they have exposed this lady, Letitia James, which let me go ahead and put her back up because she's been on full display. We're gonna pivot in a minute though. But I just gotta put this up because I felt this in my heart when I did it, man. And this is beautiful. I took my time and cut her out of this so she could look really, really, really like herself and all that hideous. This is Letitia Mud Duck James. That's her name. She's a mud duck. She fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on her way down. Every fucking branch. The reason why she's so small, because I don't need that ugliness that big on my screen. It's just, not only are you unattractive, you are just an ugly person on the inside. Yeah, I don't see anything redeeming. I'm like Robert De Niro. I couldn't play you in a movie because there's nothing redeeming about you. Nothing. Let me see. Someone asked you to play something with Oprah and President Trump. Oh shit, let's figure it out. Cause she sure did talk to that man. Oh yeah, I already know what you're talking about. Give me a second. Seriously, make sure that if this is your first time in my channel, if this is your first time watching Provoked Thoughts, make sure that you like, make sure that you share, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, man. It's actually, it's in a good channel, I think. I think I do pretty good. I don't know about y'all, but I come in here every day and try to do content and I'll be tired and shit. I got like 50 jobs and I still take the time to come in here. So I'm telling you, if you really want to see this channel grow and you want to actually support it, man, you go ahead and hit the Cash App, man. We will make sure that, your funding will be spent appropriately as far as making sure that this channel stays hot, stays going. We're going to get new equipment, lights, bells, and whistles. I'll show my face a little bit more and we'll be good to go. I really, really want for us to grow because I think that we're on to something. I appreciate everybody that comes in here. Every last one of you. So let me go ahead and get Oprah jumped off. Noobs, you got anything for the people? Anything? You can
No, man. Press it on.
Okay, let me go ahead with Oprah and Trump. Let's see what we come up with. She said, I got to, it's like I'm a DJ. Like special request.
We're going to have to get you a couple more turntables.
Oh yeah, you know what? And truth be told, I used to DJ, and I'll do it again. I mean, it's not, it's something that I know. I know music and things, and pretty soon, you guys, I'm gonna, let you all hear a bit of my music, man. I actually used to, and I still do. I go to karaoke a lot, and I sing a bit, and what was interesting, one of my former producers actually had somebody sing one of my songs. And he actually remade a song that I made roughly, oh my God, it's been so long ago. And, put a new spin on it, man. It sounded so wonderful. And I was actually humbled by that. And it's been a humbling experience of what's been going on in my life lately. So, I just feel like the God is trying to tell me something. And, I got to come out in front and do this for y'all because it's something that's literally bigger than me. It's something, all of this is happening is bigger than me and I can't help it. I just can't. If I could, I promise you I would be doing something different besides sitting in front of this screen every night. I have to.
Clue as why.
Well, why I do what I do?
Yeah, I may have. I think you just said it, and we just ran right over it. And so you were probably talking to God about it every day, and the dude is just like, "Man, I have had enough. You need to go do a YouTube channel."
Definitely, because I do. And I've been compelled, and like I said, I have these things pop up in my head, and it's like, wow, man. I, you know, I've waited. It took me literally 5 years from the moment that I saw Surviving R. Kelly to actually come up with my own channel. Now, I've been on panels and I've done all of these things, and just like Noobs, and I feel like the Noobs, whenever he decides to fire up a channel, is going to be a phenomenon. But it took a minute, and I believe that it's timing. Timing is everything, and right now we're at the cusp of something huge.
We live in interesting times.
There is something to talk about every day, and it ain't got nothing to do with no goofball ass singer or actor or social media content creator or anything. It's about lies versus truth, about freedom versus imprisonment, whether it be physical and or mental. It's about the rights that our forefathers created for us that people are trampling over, that people who don't give a damn about this country are trampling over, people who are cool with our money going to a country and a war that I feel like that we must have some type of fucking dog in the fight. If you're sending all our damn money, tell me the truth. Why are you sending our money over there? It's not to help these people. It's to help your damn self. You're doing this thinking you're going to enrich yourself, and you're going to fuck us up because Putin don't play that shit. Leave well enough alone. We don't need to be bothering other people in their countries. We got enough problems of our own. We do. We literally do. It makes no damn sense that we over fucking around in Ukraine. For what? I ain't never really even heard of Ukraine until the last few years. I ain't know that fucking place existed. I grew up when everything over there was the USSR. Am I lying, Noobs?
Nope, I've actually been there, and they're like any other country. It had its good things and its bad things, but I mean, make no mistake, that is the playground for elites to do things that they cannot get away with doing inside of the continental U.S. Make no mistake. And it's not just for our people either. Anybody wrapped up in that whole UN fiasco that woke up one day and decided that it would be a good idea to put troops and equipments on the back door of Russia must have a damn hole in their heads.
Must have a death wish.
What did they think was going to happen? And one of the things that ticks me off is people people who still don't fully get it. They say, oh well, if Trump was in office, then Putin would have never made that move. Well,
Right.
that is a true statement, but it's not because of what Putin would or would not do. It's what Trump would or would not have done to diffuse the situation and make it a plus.
Absolutely.
They wanted to give that man a Nobel Peace Prize for the work that he did in the Middle East, but they couldn't bring themselves to do it. He accomplished what nobody in the world had ever done before. And if he gets back in office, he's going to do the same thing. Because
This
I
time,
know he is going to sit in a room with Putin, and they're going to look each other square in the eye, which is something that Joe Biden cannot do, and they're going to work it out.
absolutely.
I think he's going to get those punk ass, world order clowns that we pay all that money for out of Ukraine.
I'm with you, brother. I mean, we sat here and we everything that we have done in the Biden administration has been debacle after debacle
Oh my
after
God.
debacle. We sit here and we leave Afghanistan like some bitches.
Yeah. Well, and I can't even bring myself, to watch because that was going on today. Those hearings were going on today about the Afghanistan withdrawal, and yesterday, and possibly I can't even bring myself to watch them. I already know what happened. What is all the what discussion about? You know what I'm saying? We already
Mm-hmm.
know exactly what happened. We don't need to spend however many $1 million a day for all these chuckleheads to sit in a room and go over what we already know. Why? Why
Mm-hmm.
waste our time? The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has already said he's not interested in impeaching Biden. Why? Because all we got to put in place of him is freaking camel toe. God, she's as dumb as a stump.
Cackling, clapping, clown ass Kamala.
Mm.
I'm gonna make a little person for her to put in the corner. I still ain't got into her ass.
Mm.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So, and I
Oh,
think
I
I,
can't
I I
wait.
think I posed this question to you the other day. I don't remember if I was talking to you on the phone or what, but let's assume in a world where Texas is successful at seceding from the United States, okay, which in their constitution they fully have the right to do, if they go through the process and do it or whatever. And let's say the year after Texas does that, they invite Russia to put troops and equipment and guns in Texas. Do you think the United States would stand for that?
Oh, Texas is done. It's off the map.
Well, I mean, what's left of the United States, having Texas seceded, if Texas allowed the Russians in, because it's their country, supposedly they're a sovereign country, and they allowed equipment and troops from the Soviet Union or even China or any other country that was not friendly to the United States to set up camp inside of Texas, do you think the United States would have a problem with that? Of course they would. They'd never allow it to happen. But that's what we're trying, or that's what they are trying to do in Ukraine.
The crazy shit is, and of course, today we heard in the news that the Supreme Court has ruled that Texas can control their own border.
And then something else came back around that turned that off again. And so I
What?
think there's been an update to that.
Oh, really?
Yes. So check it out when you got time. I don't remember all the details. It was something that I saw in passing, um, and I don't know what the details are.
Well, truth be told, they're doing what they want to do anyway.
Yeah, I think so, and I think they should. Because they still are a sovereign state. They have just as much right to defend themselves against invasion as you do defending your house against invasion. You know,
Right.
and so yeah, I really don't see where the Supreme Court. Of course, I'm not a lawyer or anything. But I don't see where if the federal government flat refuses to enforce the laws that have been enacted and voted on by Congress, then what other choice do you have? That's like
Mm-hmm.
you standing out there in a field and some dude is about to shoot you. There's not a cop for 60 miles. Your only option is to allow that man to shoot you and not defend yourself in any way.
Right.
And that's what they're driving at. That's what this administration is driving at. Look at the man on the New York subway as a prime example. He pulled out a gun and he fired it at an inanimate object in order to stop a woman from being accosted, and they arrested him.
Mm-mm.
So what he should have done was stand there and waited for her to be accosted in whatever way, the thug decided that he was going to do that, and then reported it to the police later so that they can maybe go find him after the fact. So that's what they want. They want you all to be a bunch of, stupid ass drones, because they don't want you defending yourself not just against thugs, they don't want you defending yourself against them.
Oh man.
And that's what all the shit is about this fucking COVID fiasco, this lie, this COVID lie. We want everybody separated. We don't want people together. Don't go to your church meetings. Don't go to those places where you have support. Don't visit with your family,
Right.
because you need to be separated and segregated, because then you are weak.
Right.
And that's
Divide
one
and
of the
conquer.
things that's one of the things that pisses me off most. And this is why I keep harping on, the demand for racism is way larger than the supply. Because I come in here and I listen to you guys and I was like, man, they're talking the exact same shit that I am. But
I
if we
mean,
were to go over to MSNBC, they're going to do everything they can to drive a wedge between you and me, and they're going to try to use our skin color to do it.
right. Why do you as a black man feel, man, what the fuck? Like,
Yep.
are you kidding me? And like I said, I literally live in the life that I see no color. I just can't. We all human, man. We all go through the same shit. We all go to these same fucked up stores with these high ass food prices, making life decisions. And it makes no damn sense.
And then
It's not
on the whim of some pharmaceutical companies and some people who are, supposedly government servants who are also on the payroll of these pharmaceutical companies, look what they did in such a short amount of time. Look at the damage they did in such a short amount of time.
Let's see, Kilroy girl, what you do is you click on the link. That link should take you to the web. In there, it may tell you to sign in through Google, sign in through, your Google account or whatnot if you have one, or, through whatever you use, and then you can see, and it'll go there, and then it'll add, then you'll start to getting into the site a little bit, and then it'll tell you more.
And Nisi got it right. The Supreme Court, they refused to block Texas from enforcing their own border, and they kicked it back to the lower court. And then the lower court, in defiance of the Supreme Court, were the ones that issued the order that they could not enact their law. And so, yeah, she got it 100% right. That's how it went down. And so now, Texas is going to do their thing. All right. With the expectation that since they're not going to get satisfaction from this lower court that apparently can't read and obey the law, that they're going to end up in the Supreme Court anyway.
They're trying to make the state do the right thing.
Yes, and the state is failing miserably. At least that particular court is.
Are they Dems?
Oh, I'm sure of it.
And people don't even realize the sovereign cities are Democrat cities.
Oh, you mean the not sovereign cities?
Or the what if the rest haven for these people?
Yeah.
If you want,
you made me forget the term.
I don't give a shit. It means nothing to me.
Well, Nisi will remind us here in a minute. She's good.
It means nothing. Sanctuary cities.
That's it.
And but you don't believe in God, but you use the word sanctuary? That's the church. you can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
You rip God out of everything, but you tell people that these are sanctuary cities.
Mm-hmm. And all they are, I mean, let's be real. They're all hell zones right now.
Rest havens for criminals.
Yep. I mean, we've got San Francisco, and I've been to San Francisco many times. I was there in the 80s and in the 90s and in the 2000s. And I had a good time, every time I was there until, I went again, what was it in like oh, geez, it wasn't that much later. It was like 2015, 2016. They'd already started legalizing, public drug use and that sort of thing. And the camps were starting to, to stack up along the concrete river and all that kind of neat jazz. But yeah, and then Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., all the same story.
All of these leftists, man, if they keep on playing, as much as they are far away from God, they have to realize one thing: every knee must bow, every tongue confess. And I promise you, y'all gonna be on y'all knees in November talking about, oh God, definitely. And we gonna be jumping around. Thank you, God. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm. You know what? I'm scared and excited at the same time.
And
because
yeah, I know what you mean, because we all know that at the last election Donald Trump was a shoo-in. Okay, don't try to blow the fucking 81 million votes up my ass. That never happened. And and every day we find out more and more information as to why that never happened. 52 counties in Michigan alone, one county, 177,000 people on the voter registry that weren't supposed to be there. It dropped the voting percentage in that county down from like 103% down to 52%. And that's just one county out of the 52 that they're going through in the state of Michigan. And you're telling me that Joe Basement Biden got 81 million votes? Give me a break.
Yeah,
Donald
Joe
Trump,
Biden,
during the 2016 election, got more votes than any president in American history. And you're going to tell me that Basement Joe earned 81 million votes? I am not that fucking stupid.
he was given shit. He should have lost miserably, actually.
He did. But they made it up, and that's what I'm worried about with this election. So, what do they got in the cauldron,
I mean, and what's going to happen is that they are literally going to have someone in every Democratic city.
Well, and if the new RNC chair gets her way, then that is what's going to happen. I don't know why we are using computers to do a vote. Nobody has been able to explain that.
Nope, not at all. Nope. And it makes no sense. See, I'm waiting on you, Kilroy girl. You're going to have to go restart your phone or something. Download StreamYard, please. For real. I mean, it should actually tell you that you can sign in with YouTube, but you said it said you blocked, and I get that. I got a Samsung too. These fuckers suck. For real. Man,
I don't do hardly anything on my phone. I do just about everything on PC.
Yeah, I mean, I got more screens and all type of shit. I'm good.
Yeah, and way more power.
I'm talking about with the shit that I do. I don't need to be fucking with no phone. Seriously, like if I just need to do a live and it's an emergency, I'll jump on that bitch. But other than that, no. So I got a request for a video, and we're gonna do it.
You took out a full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy.
Boo! Oh, God.
What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political.
This is the same guy. Is it anything that he just said that we have not heard recently from him? I truly don't think so. It sounds good to me.
Presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
And then he ran into Barack Obama. Pissed that man off so bad. He's hey, noobs, for real. Barack pissed that man off so freaking bad. It was crazy. Absolutely insane. You still with me over there, sir? Oh, he may be busy, people. Give me a moment.
Well,
no, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of the incumbency, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Jesse Jackson's done himself very proud. I think Michael Dukakis has done one hell of a job.
Wait a minute. Did he just mention Jesse Jackson?
Yeah, he was a candidate.
I remember, because it was like him, Mike Dukakis, or, some shit like that, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he mentioned Jesse Jackson like if he was a racist, it would have been a non-factor. He wouldn't have brought the man up.
Right.
Or said he was doing a good job, because Trump is a straight shooter. He wouldn't need to, trust me, if he didn't like somebody.
To the point where it gets him in trouble sometimes, because he says what's on his mind, and then just like the bloodbath incident, they just try to take it and twist it any way they want.
Oh man. Wow, that's crazy as shit. Let's go.
And George Bush has done a hell of a job. They all went in there sort of as semi-underdogs, including George Bush, and they've all come out. I think people that are around all three of those candidates can be very proud of the jobs they've done.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone.
I love it.
Into losing my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be.
Look at all those smiling faces. I'm sure that some of these people are alive now. I hate Donald Trump. Oh my God. Especially this bastard here. Don't he look like it? Look like he got a little vitriol already. Oh, I wish I was him.
Be inclined.
Oh, and the guy behind him. Look at this sour puss. Oh God, I'm telling you, I'm sure if you look them up right now, if you knew who they were, they hate the shit out of Trump.
I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing: this country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
And it wasn't the way that it had been. And they didn't like that shit. And the reason, a man of his word, he did what he said he was going to do. And that was over 30 years ago. But he's the most terrible human being on the world. He literally stands on what he says, and he makes the shit fucking happen. And people just don't get it. They don't understand that is the makings, the absolute makings of a man, and anything less is absolutely uncivilized.
We have gotten too used to having dullards and halfwits become presidents. People who came from politics, never had a job in their life, never had to work for anything, to raise kids or to send them to school, none of that. These people grew up as children and of wealthy families who have a lot of friends who are also wealthy politicians. And Donald Trump broke that mold.
And when they figured out that he was not only a non-politician, but he was unapologetic, and I'm going to do what the fuck I feel is right, fuck you, then there was a problem.
I think the problem existed even before that. I mean, even as early as the year that this video was released, there had to be people in the government that considered him becoming a future president as a possibility. And so with that said, I'm thinking there was a lot of preamble and a lot of time spent, trying to either get dirt on or get him to behave and speak in a way that they desired. And in all that time, up until the time that he became president, they never got their hooks in him. And so right when he became president, they're like, "Oh my God, we've got to hit the panic button." And they did for his entire presidency. And even after his presidency, they're running around like a bunch of screaming idiots. "Oh my God, we got to stop Donald Trump at any cost." And they all sign their agreements with the devil to get the things done that they've gotten done so far.
Oh yeah.
There's not a single one of them that is honest and doesn't have blood on their hands.
On a ridiculous level, man. And I just hate that it's people out there, and I can safely say, man, I like I said, I don't subscribe to. They talk about hate speech, but yet they can turn around and come out of their mouth and say, "I hate Donald Trump."
Well,
It's
and don't tell me there is not a new trend, particularly within left-leaning politics, that is just anti-white in general.
oh yeah,
And so and this is going back to what I was talking about through the COVID and everything else. They don't want us sitting here talking. They don't want us talking about this shit. They want us sitting at home in our own little small circles, not talking to each other, not going to church and talking to those people.
oh no, let's not do that.
Yeah. I mean, how many pastors did they arrest because they were, holding meetings, which is their constitutional right? Who are these people think they are? Arresting somebody who's at church.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, man, the sanctuary thing is what really kills me, though. That like sanctuary. That's why I think that's why I kind of didn't want to call it that, because it's like, wait a minute, that's the church.
Yeah.
That's literally what we call the inside, where you go and worship. That's the sanctuary.
Hmm.
So basically, you want these foreigners or illegals, these illegal aliens, to go into these sanctuary cities to worship who? Joe Biden?
Yes, that's exactly. They worship that EBT card,
Yeah.
worship that free education, free medical, free food. Yep,
Yeah.
because I don't know where this mentality was generated from, that the world owes you a living because you exist. somebody in this world must provide for you,
Your mama.
right? And even then, that's gone too far because, I mean, look how many people, our age and then, people who are behind us, they never moved out and did their own thing. They're still living at home with their mom.
Right, man. Absolutely. 1000%.
And these are the guys and gals that went to go work at McDonald's, but then they never did anything else.
Mm. Right.
They didn't go to school. They didn't go learn a trade. They just didn't do anything else because there's this mentality that because they exist, they are worth a living wage just by merely existing.
Right.
And Joe Biden wants to make that, a truism. But at what point does the bottom fall out? Because now you don't have any more producers of everything. Everybody is on the government tit getting handouts, but nobody is generating anything. Just
Right.
like a city, like New York, like Chicago. What do they create? What do they make? What do they produce? Nothing.
Chaos.
Hate and discontent, but they consume everything. But they're the ones that want to go out and tell farmers, oh, you got too many cows and cows fart and the whole world is going to burn up because you have cows. Go
I'm talking about
yourself. Yeah.
I'm talking about realistically agents of discord and separation and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to, like I said, the Willie Lynch letter is so powerful that it's starting to seep into everyone. The making the smallest things humongous is what caused this division. When you are more focused on the differences that you can't even see how people are the same. And that's what we're dealing with the far left. They're so focused on how we're different and we want different. We need a country of people who are on the same accord that are looking for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone.
And the dichotomy there is that, while the left sits there and points out, hey, you shouldn't like that guy because he's a white supremacist, or, you shouldn't like that guy, because he's the wrong color, or, whatever, because he's Asian and he scores higher than you, whatever the craziness is. And then they want to turn around and say there's no difference between a man and a woman.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah. So, well, somebody explain this to me. Okay. How come, me as a white person and you as a black person are so different that we're supposed to hate and distrust each other, but there's no difference between a man and a woman?
Right.
What the? It doesn't even make any sense.
Right. It's funny how in all of this we've gotten all the way down to they've dumbed themselves all the way down, because not me.
Yeah.
To the point where they can ask that question, what is a woman?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not a biologist, so yeah, well, guess what? You're too stupid to be a Supreme Court judge too. Dipshit.
Absolutely. I'm like, who hired this motherfucker, man?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I actually gave you all an extra hour. I was planning on doing 2 hours.
Oh, you blew it.
But since I came in a little bit late, I give you all, it's kind of like a bonus hour. But before I get up out of here, I posed a question, like I said in the thumbnail, man. Who is America? if America was a person at this particular point, who would it be? What would it be? Would it be a deceitful liar? Would it be a narcissist and a gaslighter? Would it be an abuser? Would it be a predator and a monster? What would it be?
You just described Joe Biden. I'm just saying. And when you go back and listen to what you just said, you'll hear it too.
I know.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I know what I was always told who she is, because apparently America's a lady. And
Not no more. She don't have any manners.
And now we don't even know what a woman is. So,
Yeah.
But America, in my view, should be fair and just, but compassionate, helpful to its people, staying in its own business, and taking care of its own business. Because when you are in everybody else's business, you can never take care of your own. If I'm worried about what's happening with my neighbor down the street, how am I going to take care of the shit that's going on in my house? We need America to be about us, the Americans, not these Americans or people who you don't even want to do the right thing to come to America. Is America a whore that you let everybody run up in? Or is America a place that before they run up in you, they get checked out to make sure they're good? What are we? This is our country. Whether you was brought here in chains, or whether you was born here, or whether you came here on a ship and you've been here and you got your license and you got your social security card and you have your birth certificate, or you came over here and you went through everything that you needed to do to get your ass documented, and you took pride in that. Not somebody that's coming over here claiming that they running from some shit, and 9 chances out of 10 they running from their fucking self. And then when they get over here, they're getting everything for free, but shit, that's not enough. So they got to take what's yours. If that means your job, if that means your child's school, they're going to take it. Because they're being given it and they're being counted as citizens. And they act like we don't even fucking matter. Joe Biden said out of his mouth, they built this country. And he just discounted everything that every white person that's been here and every black person that's been here has ever done. This wasn't no flat ass land with no development or anything before these fuckers came over the border. We built this shit. And they trying to take it away from us every chance they get. They literally tried to tell us back in 5 years ago what the fuck we could listen to as far as music is concerned. Now they're trying to tell us that we can't vote for the person that we want in office. We cannot have this shit. I promise you, if this is allowed, we won't be able to do a damn thing. You see, they trying to take, even though I don't use TikTok, I respect anybody's right to do what the fuck they want to do. You can't start banning and barring shit, because what's next? Facebook? What's next? StreamYard? What's next? I can't do content anymore? We got to get ourselves together. And we got to stop sitting on our couch watching these dumbass people tell us dumbass shit and eating it and digesting out diarrhea of the mouth of the things that they're saying that's absolutely not true. I feel like if people are acting like this, the education system didn't just now get fucked up. It's been fucked up for years when you got people out here that can't think for themselves. And the only thing that I ask from my people that come into my page is come in here with an open mind. Come in here with a spirit of wanting to learn something, wanting to know something, to take a different approach. And we're going to be okay if we do the right thing. But if we sit here and we allow for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because truth be told, if Joe Biden gets in that office, I predict that he's going to croak within year one. And then we got Kamala Harris, and we are truly fucked. It's over for us. If she get to touch that Oval Office, we are screwed. We can't let that happen. That's the only damn thing that Nikki Haley said was right. We can't let that happen, but she wasn't the one to not make it happen. Donald Trump is, and we need to get with the fucking program. And I'm telling you, as I do Ubers, I Uber a little bit. Most of the black people that get in the car are pro-Trump. I have to fight with young white people about infrastructure while dodging potholes trying to take them to their fucking destination. And ask them, why do you think Donald Trump's racist? Why do you feel there was an insurrection when there were no pitchforks, knives, guns, grenades, bombs, or nothing? The only thing they could have did was challenge them people to a fist fight. It's fucking crazy. So on that note, y'all, I appreciate everybody in the chat that came in. Of course, if you're still in here and it's your first time, just give it a little like, a little share, a little subscribe, man. It ain't going to hurt nobody. It's not going to hurt you at all. It's actually good for you. You feel better. I promise you. So I want to go ahead and give my shout out to Unconditional Love. I want to go ahead and give my shout out to C-Star, Kilroy Girl, Michael Atos, Noobs. I want to give my shout out to my home girl. You know what I'm saying? My girl, Miss Niecy Mo, always in here, always doing her thing, the only queen. Okay, I want to give my shout out to my man Lex. I want to give a shout out to C-Star, Big Vi for coming on the panel and doing his thing as well. I want to give a shout out to Darlene. Talked to Darlene earlier today, and she said that she wasn't a Trump supporter, but she, was all about Kale. She came over here and she listened actively, and I appreciate that shit. You know what I'm saying? For real. So at the end of the day, in Unconditional Love, you know I love you unconditionally, baby. So we are definitely going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. I'll probably see y'all maybe Friday or something like that. I'm not sure. Depending on what happens in the news strand, you know, special reports can happen at any time. So I appreciate everything from you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend. If you want to contribute to my channel, you can go ahead and contribute at Cash App Provoke Thoughts Live. And we will go ahead and make sure that this channel actually grows. And on that note, Noobs, I think we up out of here. What you think?
I think we did it, man. I think it went pretty well. I think we got off of the beaten trail a little bit and then got right back on it. I think.
Oh man, you know what? You know, sometimes it be shit in the road and we gotta move. we gotta move with it. So, like I said, once again, I appreciate everybody, and it's been a good one. I'm very, very happy, man. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna see a whole bunch of people pop up in these chats and in these, on these lives, and we are gonna handle that shit accordingly. So I love y'all. And we out, and we're going to go ahead and end it with this wonderful theme song of mine.
How long before we start up the movement? How long we gon' keep letting them do us? How long before we start up the movement? How long we gon' keep letting them do us? How long before we say fuck this piece shit and grab them clappers? How long before we lose our voices shouting Black Lives Matter? How long we gon' keep letting them disrespect our president? How long we gon' keep letting them terrorize our residents? I'm sick of this shit. It's word to Bernie Mac. How long before we police ourselves, take our own streets back? How long for Uncle Tom here and hate on this shit? How long before they take a shot at me for making this shit? How long I gotta wait for justice for Josiah Shaw? How long we gotta fake it till we can take it and whack 'em all? How long we not gonna make these youngins pull their pants up? How long we gonna keep letting them shoot us down with our hands up? How long we gonna keep killing our own and making these streets hot? How long will what I say to you stay with you when the beat stop? How long's your attention span? How long you watch the news? You ain't down to shake shit up with the rebels for the cause? I ain't talking to you.